Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through. It's just gonna solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Avalanche immediately to back and fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
The finals aren't quite over just yet because we have a couple exciting matches still to come. One of them we're debuting for you right now, the PC EU Open Tier Grand Finals and Spectrion. It is going to be one heck of a banger. I know I've said that before, but you know, the last time I said that, we did get a map 7, and with everything that we've talked about going into this match between TredGamingEsports and Potfriend, you should be a firm believer that that could happen here as well.
I mean, absolutely right. These teams have so much history. First time meeting at Epic Land 41. That grand finals went 4-2 the favor of TredGamingEsports. That's close enough, and realistically, that series really could have gone to a 7. Just a couple wins, obviously flipping that the other way. Second time, very first matchup of CGL playoffs. That was the game to knock TredGamingEsports into that lower bracket. And they have made an absolutely terrific run all throughout it, dispatching so many different opponents to make it all the way from first round lower bracket all the way into our grand finals. You look at the body count they've got here. Gas T3, Play, Black Diamonds, MMA, AFMT, Everfrost Esports. Those are scalps that they've been taking, Huntertain. And even though they lost in that first game 3-1, I mean, hopefully this has been the warm-up run to just, runway even, just to accelerate them into this matchup against Potfriend.
Yeah, it's not about how you start. It's 100% about how you finish. You know, you get down to that lower bracket, you got 2 situations. You either make it or you break it, and Tred Gaming 100% makes it. And you talk about all those opponents. Look at those last 3, especially within MME, AFMT, Everfrost. Those are all teams that I would have considered could have also made it to the grand finals, but they managed to go through all of them, especially that Mat 5 banger against Everfrost to make it to these grand finals. But Potfriend, in their own right, have not lost a single match so far in these playoffs, and while they have had a close 1 or 2 there, they've remained dominant throughout. So it's hard to say who you would consider the favorites going into this one, because I fully agree with you. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched overall, and I do think this will come out to be a close affair, but you know how this game works, Spectrion. If one team decides to take that momentum at the beginning and takes it very firmly, we could have a quick one, but I have a lot of faith that both these teams are going to have a lot of firepower and a lot of willpower going into today.
I mean, another factor coming into this is going to be the new patch. Obviously, we've just seen some huge changes to the tank role coming through on, I believe, Tuesday. So with the reduction on the headshot damage tanks take changes to armor, most tanks, generally speaking, are going to be stronger. And that means that the tanks in this lobby are going to be more important than ever. Take a look at our first lineup here, going to be that of Potfriend, and we can kind of discuss this roster, right? Because Zodiel, I mean, has been the standout star of maybe not even just OWCS EMEA, OWCS overall. He has had an absolutely lights out explosion onto the world stage, and I'd say he's even one of the hit scans that has been on the tip of everybody's tongues recently. Just absolutely fantastic player. That's not to say that the rest of his team is weak by any means. Will, Skytor, Johan Mustreba are all incredibly strong players with a significant body of professional and competitive experience, and they will definitely be able to bring it in their final final, actually, because this is Potfriend's last time playing together, Huntertain. They have been together since the Tier 3 days on the team Mind Goblin, Sheer Cold, all until now, where they've been Potfriend. But of course, their pieces have been pulled asunder. Zodiel going to join Tred on Team Peps, Wills, and Super Shy. They are all across the world, so win or lose, victory or defeat, this is the last time that we see these 5 players in the server together.
Yeah, and it is a shame 100%, but happy to know that they get to go out with a banger like this. But of course, a lot of credit to them. We do have to give credit to their opponent as well, who has made that amazing lower bracket run to get here, and that is Tred Gaming. And I mean, we've had the opportunity to talk about this team on here before, and we know just how good they are and the comeback that they've made. Of course, leading the charge, we have Tred over on the tank, of course, formerly on, I mean, you can name Team Peps, you can talk about the old Ex Oblivione. This is just immediately looking at this roster, you just feel the amount of experience and the amount of success that they've all had. You look at SXJ and Gucci, who have been a fantastic DPS duo throughout the season. Of course, Tekano and Captain Prash as well. And when we talked about Tekano and Captain Prash, those two also came from Super Shy. They have been a duo for a very significant period of time, and that experience is something that cannot be matched by just putting two good supports together. That time that you have together, it is so meaningful and so vibrant is the word I'm going to say. Vibrant, because when you see a support duo be together for so long, you can just tell how connected they are. And I've seen these two just have immense teamwork, and I know that it's just going to go through for today as well.
And in OWCS Stage 2, of course, it's the top 3 on Team Peps. Takuno also had a pretty deep run, all things considered. That was into top 8, I believe, but no further. So in terms of individual player quality, those two in particular stand out. But as you mentioned, the whole roster is just fantastic. I mean, even Gucci, I think, was top 16 with Rock Esports, if my memory does serve correctly. Now, so one thing I want to speak about is kind of what meta we will expect to see, because from what I've seen so far, does look like we are in a still Tracer, Sojourn, Lucio meta, with a Ramatcha tank most of the time. That's what Tred Gaming especially were playing in their last matchup, their losers final on Wednesday, which they played almost exclusively Ramatcha throughout the series, just changing to Winston in the very last map of the pool. And in terms of those flag supports, you can kind of swap between the Kiriko and the Baptiste. I have a feeling, though, Tred Gaming Esports is going to do the absolute best they can to keep playing Baptiste, because I think it's fair to say that it's probably one of Takuno's best heroes in his pool. And that means that they're going to try and just spam the front line as hard as possible.
Yeah, and I think there's a very good chance we're going to see that, especially early on here, because we look at control really good for that Ramattra, as we'll kind of take a look at our first map, which is going to be the choice of Potfriends, and it's going to be Nepal. Not much of a shock here. I imagine that this has been a map that all these teams have continued to scrim on. We've seen it be the starting map for most of these playoff matches, honestly. From most that I have been able to see, this has been the one, so all teams extremely familiar with it. But going into this, that Ramattra likely going to be a big figure. I think the only time where you could potentially see a little bit of a swap up is maybe, you know, we get over towards Sanctum, the Sigma could come out a little bit more. But I think outside of that, we should generally expect what we're going to have out of a control map, especially one like Nepal.
Yeah, I generally agree with that. I think that Sigma isn't, or rather Ramattra isn't hard messy. Like I said, we have seen some Winston, and I generally am a big believer that Winston can be played almost everywhere. But I think for teams like this, they are going to end up probably trying to play more of that Ramattra. Having Skysaw in is interesting, because normally he does play more of these main tank style picks for Potfriend. You've got NKZ to play your Zaryas, your Ramattras, your Divas, that kind of look. So that implies to me that Potfriend want to start on a Winston. Tred Gaming Esports, only the solo tank, of course, but a player like Tred's so flexible. They don't have that same level of roster depth, maybe to swap things around, but they don't really need to, because I know with the 5 players that they have arrayed, their primary 5, they will be able to reach any composition in the game that they should so choose. Starting, as we can now tell, here on Village. And Huntertain, just a second till the doors unlock. That's a funky one. Potfriend looks to start on the Malco.
Yeah, I mean, debating it, you never know. We also see a little bit of a venture on display as well, but, you know, teams like debate a little bit. But one thing we do know, the Symmetras, TPing out, probably going to go and match over to those Tracers. But Tred, I could see them potentially sporting SXJ over on the Bastion, honestly. Wouldn't be too massive of a surprise. But here we go. EUPC Grand Finals on the way, and they are taking out the Mahoga.
They are. They want to just load the damage onto Tred. Tred's going to have to play so passive here. Tred Gaming with the Symmetra as well. Just have to punish backline.
Yeah, 100%. You saw Zodiel nearly deleted the moment they came out, and already Tekano getting forced out of their area. Will be forced down, get deleted, but get a decent trade out. The tank battle, right now, Tred just needs to focus on staying alive. Unfortunately, not really able to do so here. Tred Gaming beginning to fall apart. Potfriend should be able to take this first fight victory, and Gucci just needs to give themselves a quick return to the spawn room, and that they will do as Potfriend started out with the opening fight, and that was a bit of a close one, but the biggest thing was just Tred just wasn't able to stay up for long enough as they go on the Reinhardt now.
I mean, TredGamingEsports are playing a comp that wants to trade frontline, but into Amalga, you don't trade frontline. So they were left with nothing to do, just lost it out. The Reinhardt will allow the shield during rotation, so Amalga won't be able to heal that same way, and there's nothing to stop the Rein pins. I'm not sure about this pick, though.
Yeah, and Skytor saw going immediately and gets punished for doing so for now, but look at that. Still has over half of their health and just burning away, and all Tred can do is just hold a shield and hope for the best, hope they can take somebody off the cliff. Skytor does manage to get rid of SXJ, does stay alive, and Tred will go off the cliff. The rest of the team goes back to the spawn room as well. Tred Gaming already just running straight into the fire on this Reinhardt. If they don't kill Skytor very quickly, it will end, and they've given up on this Reinhardt now as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they led towards that, and they're on to the mirror now. With the Echo, they do want to frontline trade even harder. Zodo has a bit more pick power, though. Flanking with this also could be dangerous.
Oh, what a smart play. Prash gets deleted. Tekano has to use their cooldown to the rest. Just going to get annihilated. What a play from Zodiel, and a nice finish on Zaguchi there. Great cleanup. Only expends the one ultimate, and they're still going to have a massive ult advantage going into this next fight.
I mean, huge. Just using the singular ultimate and getting it into almost last fight territory here. TredGamingEsports have been on the back foot this entire round, really struggling to get anything done here on Village, and with Potfriend still having 4 ults to push through, I don't see Tred Gaming having an easy way to victory bar a mechanical play.
I mean, they just have to get a really good freeze here right now. SSJ gotta make sure not to die with his ultimate, because this will be the final fight. And here we go through, gonna use the cleanse. Nobody ended up getting caught in that one, just buys them a tiny bit of space in that space. Immediately gonna go away. A Lotty will call it as Prash is gonna be forced to eventually use the beat. The last ultimate that they have expended ready to go. But Straybor does have their beat ready as well. Eventually figures they need to use it. But yeah, I mean, the touch comes through, but at this point in time, Potfriends are just cleaning up the scene right now. Eventually gonna go off the cliff of Skytor, but doesn't matter. Very clean victory for Potfriends here on the first map here on Village. And I mean, Tred Gaming feel like they tried a lot of different things instead of just sticking to one comp. It killed a lot of the time, killed a lot of momentum, and I don't know what the Reinhardt pick was all about, honestly.
Yeah, there's a couple curious picks there. Personally, I'm super interested in why we didn't see any Gucci Sojourn. It's one of his more picked heroes, quite significantly so. And, you know, the amount of rare guns you can charge off at Malga means that quite often you can just find one-shots into the fight. That's not what they look to do. They want to keep SXJ on this mate, at least by what they're hovering in spawn. The Genji can take some softer angles, can help duel out that Venture, actually, without that same threat of one-shot that Tracer has to deal with. I'm assuming that's what Gucci wants to pick for. Goes towards Cassidy last moment. Pretty fair. On these slightly shorter sidelines, is a little bit more effective than a Sojourn. It has a little bit more HP too, but not the same level of survivability with no slide to escape a sticky situation.
Yeah, 100%. And you see right now, Skytor and Tred both going to be rocking the Malga starting out this time around.
Oh my god.
Learned their lesson, and Will already is gone, getting taken off the cliff. But SXJ, bit of a rough situation right now, is able to live for the time being, but needs to support other team. Will eventually get it, does fall, but more than worth it to be able to take this point. First tier as Straybor will be able to get out, and Tred Gaming finally going to take themselves a fight. And I mean, feel like they've learned the lesson of just starting on the Malga instead.
Yeah, I think it works out a lot better for them, but realistically, while they were pretty fine in the Brawl v Brawl, it was Captain Prash who opens up that fight by taking care of the Symmetra. That's so much frontline damage gone. Zodiel, Skytor, instant swaps. They want to play this counter-swapping game as much as possible.
Yeah, and I don't really blame them either right now. And Racha, like you said before, still a very heavy fixture within these compositions. XSJ, though, is down already. You lose that wall, you lose the ability to stop the momentum, and now you can't even force your way onto the point. Eventually, somebody is going to, but right now, the rest of Tred Gaming paying the price for eventually having to do so, and now just need to prioritize trying to get out here. Tred Gaming is just try to stay on the point, but unfortunately, nothing really left to work with, and Potfriends I mean, literally, they forced him away a little bit, got the pick, and just jumped on the point. They worried about cleaning up after the fact.
I mean, Simon's death there is just tragic.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can really do about it but re-engage. 30% only accrued. Potfriend going to be able to equalize pretty quick. Like, ult's slightly close for TredGaming, so a very quick fight here could be advantageous for them. Once it goes long, though, Potfriend will be able to get some of their own tools, and again, it's an SXJ death.
So unfortunate, but things do tie up right now. Gucci hoping to find something with this Deadeye. Needs to be careful here. Again, buying a ton of space and eventually just going to put a fixture on the point. Going to see if anyone's going to touch, and it's looking like they attempt, but not going to be able to, as they're going in with the aggression onto Zodiel, who's staying alive thanks in part over to Yoam, who has gotten over with the heals once again. Fight still a little back and forth. TredGaming do have the ability to invest, but Tred needs to not go down, and he will die 98% to that ultimate, and now TredGaming just want to focus on stalling out at the point, and that's what they're going to do with SXJ. Going to be the last person alive. Eventually will be given up. About 53% going to be on the board for them. But right side, TredGaming do still have 3 ultimates to work with and do have the ability to use them a bit more aggressively.
It's not the end of the world for TredGaming, yeah, but I mean, SXJ needs to find opening kills like that if you're going to die 3 times in a row. You know, redeem themselves somewhat with a kill into Zodiel. They're straight back into the action.
Yeah, freezes out. Is that eventually one person was going to get caught as the counter freeze is going to come through, is not going to catch on as they're going to double down with the ultimates, eventually getting rid of Sky Tour. Straybor going to choose to hold on to this beat, ends up being the right choice now, as we know how difficult it is to stay alive inside of that ultimate. So eventually point going to flip, I imagine eventually, but Straybor's going wild, got rid of XSJ, hanging alive, point will eventually flip, and Potfriend should be able to regroup very quickly.
Looks like they will be able to. I mean, just a great fight from TredGaming, using the Blizzard to draw out resources, draw out space, and then engage of Tred punish. Early engage, perhaps might need to beat this early.
Yeah, it's a free flip for Potfriends, and now we're entering Final Fight territory. TredGaming only going to have the beat, the Deadeye eventually going to get up there. Is the beat going to be used aggressively? Straybor going to use it back, and here comes the Trace from Skytour, trying to end things right here, and now throwing them down as the Deadeye is going to come online. Both ultimates going to come online, eventually going to delete them. TredGaming hopefully going to make their way back in this fight, and we'll see the cleanup here as will be one of the last ones standing, and eventually going to go off the side of the cliff, but 96%, fantastic, and you force everything else out of TredGaming.
That you did. At the end of the day, though, Potfriend aren't super flush themselves. 2 tools and powerful ones for sure, but if TredGaming just hard jam the choke, Potfriend can't really easily break it with what they have available to them. No extra survivability to get through the manga damage, so Tred just has to keep his uptime high. TredGaming have to live here, though.
I mean, 100%. Tred, though, getting drained away. A nice wall to split them off, though. Gonna be able to keep Tred alive for a little longer, but not long enough here. Tred have to try to focus on a pick, unfortunately getting bulldozed away. With 96%, it's going to be on Captain Presh to be able to get another touch on this point. They're going around 99%. Will eventually barely get the touch and will die for it. Tred needs to try to make it back, and it is just becoming the stall game. Eventually coming back, pulled back into the freeze and gets taken out with the damage. Then eventually TredGaming will be bulldozed away. Touches coming through one after another, but not a single pick being found. SSJ trying to make it back, unfortunately will not be able to. A big fight back on the second round from TredGaming. Unfortunately, Potfriends just a little bit better, made some very good adjustments, and will take the lead to start out the series.
I think it's super interesting that TredGaming decided to stick on that Malga comp. Actually, once we saw the swaps through to the Ramatra, it's pretty obvious to me that Potfriend were trying to bait a swap like that, and once they found it, we're just more than happy enough to play on this Malga. On this Ramatra, sorry. So, as it stands, that's a strong statement out the gates here. First of 4 already accrued for Potfriend, and TredGaming really struggling. Firstly with the counter swap game, then after that, I mean, 3 first deaths in a row from SXJ. I mean, he's a super strong player, but you simply can't be conceding advantages like that. It's such a weight, a chain around your leg to try and step through that if you're TredGaming, I'm not quite sure it's a disadvantage that any team can play around. So, if SXJ can, clean up his act, so to speak, in our next coming maps, it's really not the end of the world. Just a bit of an awkward stain on his otherwise pretty clear records, but again, not a great start for Tred at all. Potfriend are loving life right now, and even though it is TredGaming Esports pick coming up next, I mean, Potfriend just have so much momentum.
I mean, they truly do. When you talk about SXJ, and it felt like they were either the hero of the team or they ended up being like the crux at some point. So, kind of like you said, I want to see them clean it up a little bit, but It is a long series, should be a long series. They have time to get their act together, but you don't want to put yourself in a 2-0 situation, God forbid, a 3-0 situation. Like, we can count probably on our hands the amount of times we've seen a reverse sweep of that caliber. You just don't want to be forced in that position, as we're going to wait and see what the next map pick is going to be, making sure teams are going to be ready to get that underway. But the question becomes what you want to go to, because more than likely you're still going to be participating in some sort of Ramatra composition. So, you know, we want to take a look back at like the history of what these teams have played before. They originally played on Hollywood in their round 1 matchup. Potfriend ended up winning that in an overtime scenario, 4-3. And it looks like Tred Gaming wants to try to stop history from repeating itself, going back to Hollywood, hoping to take it this time. And with it being Hollywood, there is some room for the Winston to come out, and I do think it's a pretty strong possibility.
I agree with you there, but I do think it's a very interesting pick. Because Hollywood is often dependent on 2 things, your tank and your hit scan. You know, when TredGamingEsports, when it comes to their tank, I mean, Tred's one of the absolute best we've got in the region, right? Just one of the absolute strongest and most flexible that we've got here in EMEA. Not that I think Skytor's bad by any means, but I'd say overall there's a bit of an edge there for Tred. Flip side of things, though, and it's hit scan based, is whether your Sojourn or Widow Cast, whatever, can find headshots, can find picks. And I mean, Zodiel is, again, just one of the absolute brightest stars right now in EMEA. And Gucci, he's good, definitely, but he's just had a bit of a quieter streak recently. So I think it speaks to a certain amount of confidence in Tred's ability to call, Tred's ability to command his team, as well as find his own individual value, that Hollywood is going to be their pick. Because it could well be giving Zodiel just sightlines that he's going to absolutely adore. They're going to be longer for the most part, so Widowmaker and Sojourn is what I'm going to expect a hell of a lot more than a Cassidy. But as you mentioned, Huntertain, definitely room for a Winston. I'd even expect it, especially in that second area of the map. So consider it a possibility at the very least of times, and that would mean I would expect to see probably a lot less Manga coming into here. He's just a lot weaker when you can't easily take those high grounds.
Yeah, and we do see, normally during that 3rd point, there's eventually the swaps over to things like the Ramatra, which we will likely see as well. But for the first 2 maps, I fully expect to see some kind of dive, especially that Winston, who is still a very strong fixture. As we'll take it as a moment, as right now, never really take a good look at the aliens, you know.
I know the eyes moved.
The eyes were moving. Good, I'm not just schizophrenic about that, as whole team's gonna be repping the Winston right now, and a little bit of different things right now. Gucci gonna be back over on that Cassidy, and obviously Potfriend's baiting around just a tiny little bit, but Zodiel being on the Genji. I mean, that could be interesting. I won't say it's the best idea in the world, but hey, I wouldn't hate it. Would you hate it, Spectrion?
I wouldn't hate it, no, but I would also just wonder why not just play Sojourn, essentially. I think that Sojourn is still super strong, even with the changes to armor, headshots, what have you. Gucci wants to try the Cassidy, feels like the sightlines are a little bit shorter, and on this first point, I guess that is true. We'll see how he sticks on it through 2nd and 3rd. Potfriend, the backline is what I'm really curious about. I'm assuming Straybull is just going to go Lucio here. And he will. So Skytor and Cove will have a stronger dive. Tred Gaming, though, these nanocycles are going to be brutal.
Yeah, a little bit here, but we talked about earlier about the experience these 2 have together. I expect it to really work out for them, but already going to be forced out into separation. Tekano in a bit of a rough situation. Prash on the way for a rescue. Skytor, a nice little backwards jump to kind of escape from that area, is already splitting up a little bit, trying to force Tred Gaming into uncomfortable positions, as right now Skytor just being a good nuisance in the backline, trying to make sure Tekano and Prash can't do a lot, but Tred going to get deleted, and Potfriends already causing the walls to fall down. First point eventually will be given up, and the support duo not going to be long for this world either. Potfriends, we'll take it. We'll have about 5:30 in the time bank as well, so already a great start for them. And Tred Gaming just not able to work together to keep Tekano and Captain Prash alive. At least,
I mean, yeah, it sucks for Tekano and Captain Prash, but Tred's the one who really got caught out there. Tries to go into the counter dive, but just gets absolutely flattened. Zodiel the one to find the final blow. It's much harder now to burn down a Winston like that, but Zodiel will, not just any DPS line, so plenty of time in the time bank. No changes for either side, though, as we move into the 2nd area of the map. No, Tred Gaming Esports' primary goal here is to take high jump control, then go to cart. So there's going to be a lot of free push here for Potfriend while they wait for Tred Gaming to try and establish.
Yep, we see Tred right now taking a little bit of presence on the front. Again, needs to make sure not to go down twice in a row. It would be devastating at this point. What TredGaming really needs is to take a fight win here, as Tred is just taking a bunch of heat, barely gets the heals in time. Bubble able to come to the rescue. Nobody going down quite yet. Skytor, though, does have old reliable to hold on to, but Potfriends are going to open up the fight once again. Access Shay going through as the Nano has been invested. Tred just jumping around, hoping to find something, but just fantastic for all of Potfriends, especially Zodiel, to just avoid it, because why not? As they're hoping to get rid of Zodiel, will accomplish that, but Spectrion, the damage has more than been done already, and Tred, we're likely not going to be able to get out either.
Yeah, it looks to me like TredGaming were trying to farm Nano Boost, and they do charge it. I actually see where it got invested into. But while they're farming Nano Boost on damage off of Tred, that's stretching their resources so thin that everyone else across the map is just getting folded. I mean, yeah, it's a great shot from Zodiel to take care of SXO. No macro about that, but Tred is constantly having to play passive because of the amount of focus fires coming in, marking him. Potfriend's game plan just seems like also is just to shoot Tred.
Yeah, and here we go. Bubble being thrown on to the Deadeye. Gonna aid a little bit. Hoping to find something still as it will come out, and does not find anything. Buys them a little bit of space, though. TredGaming hoping to make this fight theirs, but here we go. Skytor, Zodiel going in all on the investment. Hoping to find something, but there's that support duo. Able to turn around, able to delete them. Skytor just focused at single lab, trying to stop anyone from getting the touch on the point. 1.75 meters. This needs to stay on the point for this fight. With Skytor and Will in rough situations, someone needs to keep a constant picture as Potfriends just trying to readjust, just trying to stay alive as they're going to take back that high ground and do a quick regroup for themselves.
Gucci's went over to the Genji, wants to be able to mark Skytor harder, wants to be able to fight these off angles harder, and maybe contribute to the dives as well. I do think the Cassidy was getting to be very much a weak point for them. With Tred now on the Doomfist, will that now become their Achilles heel?
Yeah, 100% now. And Potfriends got that regroup going, creating a lot of pressure. Eventually, we'll put a body on the card. As you see, the separation nearly gets rid of Captain Prash, but again, Tekano there to aid as the Pulse Bomb comes online. Not going to get anybody, but the damage is already done. Extra Stay and Tred gone, and just a nano close as the nano gets used on Captain Prash. They think they can win this one, but it's just not going to happen. 2v5, they're just going to try to die on that point. They eventually will, and Potfriends with 4 minutes on the clock. I imagine TredGaming just might make the swap here and there.
I would imagine they go over to a Kiri Lucio backline here, because that Nano Boost was questionable at best. 3v5, yeah, you're not finding any value, but they're sticking on it. I mean, it was a great fight from Potfriend. They did a great job isolating the backline. They had to play so far back inside the studio to be safe, and that means that there's no sustain coming through onto Tred. Nano couldn't be applied to him, and then that's where the first domino began to fall back over to the Winston now. We'll see if it's going to be any different than the Doomfist.
100%. Heart moving along nice and steady. Tred just waiting for their opportunity to go back in. Has had a lot of trouble trying to get in, just like that. Already forced out without even setting on a proper dive, so fight likely gonna come down. XXJ having that pulse bomb about to be ready to go, needs to find a good target. Honestly, Straybor would be the perfect target to go for in this situation. Who has that beat ready to go. Could be a massive nuisance in this fight. Shouldn't be allowed to stay up, but Yoham goes down right after putting out the Kitsune Rush. Potfriends does manage to find one right now as double ultimates coming out from TredGaming, using basically what they had at their disposal. With that, they will end up winning the fight, but Zodiel, as well as Straybor, will be able to get out of this fight alive. So again, while Potfriends lose the fight, they will be able to regroup pretty quick.
I mean, in terms of your individual trade, it's pretty good for TredGamingEsports, but Potfriends still have 4 check marks online. Kuno has to finish off this nano and fast, throw it onto Tred or Gucci, else they won't really have a shot in this next engagement.
Yeah, and Tekano, he's getting a little bit of pressure already, sitting at 96%, trying to get this online, but it's the double pulse bomb for Will to help clear things out. Potfriends just have Tred deal with the backline, who eventually is going to die. Potfriends pushing ahead. These touches, oh, they are not going to be including on Spectrion.
They should be able to get 1, I think, from your Tracer. Can you get even that? Yes, SXJ is on the objective. Nanoboost comes through onto Genji. That's a Nanoblade as well.
Yeah, Nanoblade online, getting rid of Zodiel. Needs to find his second, though, right now. Hoping to find something, but getting a lot of pressure from Will in the backline. But pressure has already worked out. You get rid of one. You see, again, the Potfriend just trying to regroup. Now in a situation where you probably just want to try to get out of there. Regroup. Got a little less than 2 minutes. Still got a few fights within you. As Tred, interestingly enough, is on the D.Va, and Spectrion, I think this is 100% the right call to go over to the D.Va instead.
Mate, D.Va has been nerfed pretty significantly with your fusion cannon damage into the armor, so as long as Skytor can maintain armor, it still won't do all that much into what Potfriend are playing. We'll see how this ends up working out. That's micro missiles already expended, and Skytor's still in.
Oh, a nice sleep, but just a second too late as now Skytor trying to go for the final blow. Will get it onto Captain Prash, and it's just nasty, juggling everybody around. Potfriend just eliminating them one by one, eventually hoping to push this one in as SXJ delivering a last little bit of stall as the rest are trying to hope to make it on here. Unfortunately, no one else with the touch. 107 on the clock, and most significantly, they finish with over a minute. So Tred Gaming hope they get another opportunity after this attack. If they push it all the way, they have to finish with time on the board, which, with what we've seen, Potfriends just understand how to play into Tred Gaming. It's only that third point that they really got anything going.
Yeah, I think if I'm Tred Gaming Esports, I'm happy first and foremost the time bank isn't larger. They were able to whistle it down pretty effectively, down something that's manageable for them, right? And it is over a minute, yes, only by a little bit though, so they can still finish with the same amount of time, but with a couple caveats. Firstly, if they are going to do so, I really don't want to see Gucci on that Cassidy. I don't think it's been working out for them. They haven't been finding opening kills. They haven't been effectively poking out the dive. It looks like that's when they want to run out with time again. Again, 20% DPS passive. That's going to significantly nerf the survivability of these Annabrig support lines, and Takuno and Captain Prash have been exploited more than a couple times. The normal weakness of a backline like this is going to be the pulse bombs, but Will has been quiet with them for the most part. Has found at least one explosive one, but it's not just every time that ultimate's online, Takuno, Prash are dead, like sometimes it has been.
Yeah.
I do think we need to be finding more value from these nano boosts, because it feels like so far, maybe 1 out of 3 actually finding the value we really expect out of an ultimate that can be as pivotal as that. So often just be thrown onto Prash to stay alive mid-dive, and even then won't maybe survive. We need to be able to farm the nanos in a safe manner and throw them onto Tred. Once you reach the backline, then you can find some level of success. Potfriend, though, such a survivable backline means that even if all that happens, I'm not quite sure the nano boosts will find all that much.
Yep, so interesting to see what we're going to see here from Tred Gaming for this opening fight. Gucci just having a hard time getting out there in general, which for the time being, again, you got plenty of time as the first fight. You figure things out here, and even if you lose it, you figure out how Potfriend specifically wants to play this, because you see they're separated in a nice manner where if someone gets dove on, they immediately have a ticket out of there. You see the ticket onto Yoham, eventually going to stay out of the fight for a little bit, getting a bit of pressure as Tred just in a really weird situation, eventually gonna have to use the bubble. As what you see is this constant pressure on them as we get the trade out right now. Will in the background, forced to eventually try to get out of there, getting forced out with that recall. Looks like they will be able to survive, but Gucci, a nice grenade to be able to stick them, hold them in place. Tred Gaming finally with a bit of advantage on the side here, forcing out SkyTour. And the thing you see right here is Potfriend, they back out, they're gonna let a tick or two go, and then they're gonna hit with that regroup touch.
They have a very fast recontest though. Takuno maybe hits a nade here to open up proceedings, else Tred Gaming's still in a pretty rough spot, all things considered.
Yeah, we see the dives going through each other with that kind of dive. Tred eventually again forced out, can't dive right now. Is Takuno trying to do their best to survive.
Oh, lovely
on
kill.
the line. A little unfortunate, but again, it is a trade, and with Prash now being the only sense of healing for this Tred Gaming squad, this fight needs to end, and it needs to end quickly, but a good job to try to force the point, try to force somebody to touch below. Trying to get something, but eventually boosts them around. XSJ just trying to keep the team alive. Pulse Bomb coming online as the point is sitting at 99.7%. SkyTour needs to stay on no matter what.
What a
That's
nade.
a big nade on the 2. That's from Takuno, and eventually Potfriends will fall over, but that could have gone either way, and I think that nade was the perfect crux that Tred Gaming needed.
That was a half-court shot coming through from Takuno. I mean, a double nade allows Tred Gaming Esports to clean up the action on the point and get the cart moving in pretty good time of their own. Nano Boost online as well. In fact, with Rally 2, it means they can safely invest onto Tred. They don't have to worry about their backline survivability. So, Monkey, Nano, Tred Gaming Esports win condition. Hopefully they can actually win off of it.
Yeah, gonna have to see. I don't want to see too much of an over-investment here. You have the ultimate advantage. You want to try your best to hold on to it for the next fight as well, but what we're going to see is a dive into the backline. Just going to cut off a lot of Tred Gaming, as right now, again, we get the trade out, but Potfriends at the end of the day getting both those through as we saw the investment from 2 of their ultimates to try to win that fight. And that card's still moving for the time being, too. And everyone's staying alive, staying together here as eventually SkyTour gonna try to get out of there, try to bring some presence to the point, will eventually get deleted, and that's the fight that Tred Gaming needed. A big investment for Potfriends, but no payoff.
And it looks like it's actually by design rather than by circumstance that they continuously nano boost Captain Prash. They want the Brigitte survivability, they want the raid boss online to defend their backline as well as punish these dives, and it is working out for them, to be fair. still got the Rally, still got the Primal. TredGamingEsports in the best spot they've been in all series.
Yep, and now you see a Deadeye ready to go, bringing some presence. Eventually going to try to use it a little too early, get a lot of low targets though. Eventually, this will pay off as now Zodiel in a bit of a dark room. And this is not the situation you want to find yourself in. And now Tred Gaming going to be going in with just, I think, a little over what Potfriend had going into their third point. So fantastic to see a Sky Tour. Yep, there's the swap over to the Ramattra. They're going to swap over entirely, and Tred Gaming potentially not far off from swapping as well. Probably after the rally on this fight.
I could see it. I don't think they have to by any means. If they're feeling the Winston, as indeed I think they are now, then I don't see why they would have to swap off the backline at all. They can still very much punish Johan now. Much more diveable target, and Zodiel does have a Deadeye at least, but still can't stop out the dive entirely.
Yeah, right now Zodiel though gets super low, gonna force out the Immortality Field. The beat getting used as well, Potfriends with the investment, but eventually will get rid of Tred. Gucci getting deleted, and the rest of Tred Gaming potentially to follow here, eventually forcing as Will, just opposing their quote-unquote will amongst them, and now Tred Gaming will make the swap accordingly.
Yeah, they want to mirror out the Ram. They want to keep the backline for the ults, maybe swap after that. I mean, ults pretty significantly better for TredGamingEsports. It's kind of fine if they bleed a little bit of time in terms of getting out of your opponent's strong ults. Now just DPS tools into a Nano Boost and a Rally. I don't like my odds there if I'm Potfriends.
Yeah, we see this investment.
Oh
Another big nade, though, at 3k. Zodiel hoping to find something, but Will uses the Pulse Bomb as well. And again, 2 ultimates used and no value from it. But thankfully for Zodiel, does get a little help, though, with that Immortality Field as Tritor trying to stay alive, but gets hit with a nade. Gets hit with everything, and Tred just leading to and eventually trying to clear off the rest of the point. Now we're coming up needing potentially just one more fight to win this one. Big investment, but it pays off. And now all we've got to work with is the Nano and that Deadeye, thankfully.
Yeah, Nano Boost is still always going to be a strong tool in something like this. If the Annihilation Charge is for Potfriend, they could make a stop with it, but it's going to have to be a window to buy the time for that ultimate to come online. Another nade onto Sky, so but Takuno dies.
Yeah, we do see the Deadeye online for Gucci, and Tred Gaming shouldn't really be able to do anything here, as it's not going to find anything, and now they're just in a rough situation where Will does go down, but again, you're right up against a spawn Zodiel, and a nice little shot over there onto Captain Crash. Right side, though, you do force this over pretty far, but now Tred Gaming going to have that matching Annihilation going into the fight. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, still pretty okay check marks for Tred, but the sideline's so in favor of Potfriend that winning out this next fight, not as consistent as maybe I'd like to see. So still decent chance to get a better time bank, still decent chance to finish with time. But remember, if TredGamingEsports don't finish with time, we go into extra innings with them having no chance of winning out Hollywood.
Yeah, that'd be next to worst case scenario here, but at the very least, you'd give yourself an opportunity to stop them from getting another point against you. Again, going 2-0 here would be a terrible start for them, but they have a chance right here. But if they want a real chance, it might have to be this fight. Try to get a lot out of Potfriends or take the aggression, and they will take the aggression. Going into Sky Tour, going to double down here. Already Sky Tour in a weird position, but the damage already being done with a big freeze. Eventually getting rid of them, and now it is just Gucci alive, who will get deleted eventually. Tred Gaming now going to swap over as well, but the bright side is Tred does hold on to the Annihilation. They just have to use it before Strayboard gets his speed online.
They've got Deadeye as well, so they can use Deadeye to punish the space that Johan maybe could try and control with the window. Aggressive push, though, from Potfriend. I love this.
Oh! That was a lot of damage all at once as Tred tries her best, unfortunately gets deleted, and now 50 seconds on the clock. Spectrion, it's got to be this fight right here, or they're not going to cap with any time at all. Maybe not.
They don't have an Annihilation. I don't see a way they can cap with time, barring Gucci just going absolutely bonkers, or Potfriend, forgetting what their mouse and keyboard is. They're in such a great spot to close out the map here. I mean, it just support ult so strong. We'll see if Tred Gaming has a way of maybe overrunning the back window, but that kind of has to be their play here.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Right now, you see Skytour needs to be forced out of this position. They're going to hold here for as long as they want to. With 20 seconds on the board, I mean, it's going to be impossible now to really get this thing going. As Gucci hoping to find something with that Deadeye coming around the corner. And again, you see this just amazing stall as Gucci can't get it out in time, and now being drained away. Zodiel helping clear things off, and now a nice little victory beat on top of that. Tred Gaming not even going to be able to force the overtime touch, and will get stopped at the final hurdle of Potfriends. A fantastic third point hold to put themselves up 2-0 in the series, and just when you think Tred Gaming has it figured out, Potfriends just shut them down every time.
That was a 4.5-minute timeout heading into the studio section of Hollywood. I mean, pretty comfortable to finish with for most teams, but it doesn't end up happening. I'll put it that way. Just an ironclad defense from Potfriend, TredGamingEsports, left with no recourse in the final act, and a couple of rough ults coming through, a couple of scenarios that maybe should have gone their way, meaning that Potfriend halfway now to a CGL championship. It's touching distance for them, and if I'm TredGamingEsports, this is not the way I expected this game to go whatsoever. I mean, they've found some real streaks of success. We've seen that so far, but when it actually comes, push to shove, they aren't winning out these maps. They do have map pick coming up next, and while it is a best of 7, they do have some more maps to play with, but it's not the start, again, they were looking for at all.
No, not in the slightest, but I think the one thing you have to give this is that we are seeing the progress of this team throughout the series. You could tell they have that fight in them. They have the ability to do this. It is just they are not showing the same level of consistency that we're getting out of Potfriends, which I just want to see Tred Gaming come out here with some kind of stronger will, because they are doing great things, but Potfriend right now, they're doing amazing things. Even when things start to fall apart, the difference you're seeing is Potfriend, they back out together, they group out together, they're able to get more fights within that span of 4 minutes because they're able to make sure that everybody doesn't just die. Tred Gaming, unfortunately, in a situation where 90% of those fights, everyone on Tred Gaming was dying. It was taking longer for those regroups. They were getting less fights in. So when we go over to a map type like Flashpoint, where things are going to be very quick, I'm hoping they can keep up with that pace. And with us going to New Junk City specifically, I really want to see them play just this very quick comp and try to outspeed Potfriend, because right now they're not outskilling them, so outpacing them might have to be the choice.
I mean, New Junk City is an interesting one. Survasa is almost always their comfort pick, but not feeling it for whatever reason. I'm not actually quite sure why. I think first fight generally for New Junk City is going to be more favorable to what Tred Gaming wants to play with this cast variation. The sideline's a little bit shorter. The rest of them, though, again, going to favor Potfriend, one would imagine. In terms of what they play, Ram Mirror seems to be ideal for them, but remember what Potfriend had last time, that Malga composition that they ran out with was absolutely destructive to what Tred GamingEsports tried to table. So, I think it's a super interesting pick, but when push comes to shove, the last 2 times these teams played Flashpoint, when played Survasa, I believe it ended up going in favor of Potfriend, so it might just be Tred GamingEsports looking for a change here to try and find some victory.
I mean, yeah, that's what we're seeing. This weird trend from Tred Gaming is they took us to Hollywood, where they previously lost here against Potfriend, and then they lose it again. Now they're bringing us to New Junk City, where they previously lost, and they're taking us to it again. Which, again, drives a lot of curiosity as to why they're doing that. Is it just their own comfortability? Is it that they think they can take the fight to those and thought, oh, those were super close, we can definitely win them this time, we know what we did wrong last time? At that same point, Potfriends knows what you did wrong. They played against you and have that confidence to go into those maps. Like, if I'm facing off against someone in the grand finals and they bring us to a map that we have beaten you on before, my brain's like, all right, let's go. This is great. This is fantastic. You keep a positive mindset. In your mind, you don't have as much worry as going to a map that perhaps maybe not a lot of teams practice a whole lot, which is what I really like about New Junk City, because not a lot of teams opt to go there, and it ends up being kind of I don't want to say change of pace necessarily, but it's a different style than Survasa that feels a lot more open on a lot of those points, or a lot more, I'll use the word versatile. Why not? I'll use that word. Flashpoint, sure. The most versatile map type, sure. We'll say that.
One thing I do think is curious, actually, is what we've often been seeing has been this Anna break backline from Tred GamingEsports. And I understand some of the theory behind that. If you think the opponent's trace is particularly strong, then typically Break's going to be a little bit better, warding her away. But in terms of the overall 3-2-1 dive, Lucio Kiri can just kind of run away from it. Brig and have to sit there and tank it and occasionally die to it. That's kind of what we're seeing. Again, especially with 20% DPS passive, that's a lot of the sustainability gone just because you can't chain heal each other forever and ever and ever. And even if you can do that, that's still your supports taking out the fight indefinitely. These supports are not ones who can find value well under pressure, unlike a Kiriko, unlike a Lucio, who can quite easily do that. So I think this kind of backline composition gap is in one of the really large things here, because I don't think the Nana Boosts have been as consistent fight wins as you probably would have liked for a composition like this, for teams like this. And so I mean, Akiri Lucio has been something we've seen from Prash and Takuna before, and I would love to see it here on New Junk City.
Yeah, I really hope we do. Like I said, I want to see them try to outpace Potfriends a little bit here, and I think they have the ability to do so. They just have to go all in for it, because this isn't a learning situation anymore. This isn't, we'll get them on them next time. You got to do it here and now, and there's no other place to try to do it than Flashpoint, a map type where I see you take the pace all of the time, as both teams looking like they're going to opt for the Mauga out the gate here. And now Tred Gaming perhaps being a little, I don't know if I would say honest right now. I imagine we're going to see the swap-ups immediately, but I don't even hate the Somber. I don't even hate it. I'll be the one to say it. I don't even hate Somber in this situation. I would hate it if I was Skytor, but...
Somber here is actually a really interesting pick, because EMP is great at countering out both Wall and the cage fight if Will decides to stay on this Symmetra outside of the TP. And it looks like he will. So if Gucci saves his EMP for good timing, he can win out a fight as well as canceling out 2 of Potfriend's ults.
Yep, but now Gucci has to be careful, because you can be caught out quite easily if you're put in the wrong situation, and immediately going in hot on that one, just delivering a bunch of damage. Both teams going to use a lot of their cooldowns to begin this fight, as Skytor is forced back for the time being in a really rough situation, and eventually Tred Gaming going to clear out a couple of big members. Tred, though, needs to make sure they stay alive. Very important to be able to do so, but eventually we'll see the takeover come through. Potfriend will be deleted off of the map, and Tred Gaming, they play this right. They wait out for that second hack. They delete them, and they push when it is most needed. A great start, but they got to keep this consistency.
Having the Moira rather than the Kiriko allows so much more frontline trading from Tred Gaming Esports, and tempo as well. Coalescence already online. Tred Gaming likely goes for an aggressive push to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I believe 100%, but Zodiel also going to be online with theirs, and that could be a very aggressive duel, especially if they get to that backline. Skytor in a rough situation, getting forced away, trying to get out of here, pounding away. Trying to do the best to stay alive, will eventually be able to do so. Zodiel able to get out as well. So at the very least, they buy themselves a ton of time. They bring it to that one fight territory, but here comes that aggression from Potfriends instead here. As Tred gonna have to get hit with that, as right now we see Yuching not gonna have that EMP any longer right now. Means they're not gonna be able to trade out. Not gonna matter a whole lot, as it looks like eventually Potfriends will be able to clean this one up. SXJ just gonna make their way onto the point, hoping to get a little bit of support right now. Honestly, just doing a great job of just at least surviving on the point. Maybe trying to force something out, but Tred Gaming just going for the stall at this point. Will force it to that 95-ish territory, so good for them, but not going to have the EMP for this cage fight now.
I really don't like the decision to EMP there from Gucci. Even if it did win out the fight for them, it would need to be instant. You need to convert the flashpoint for me to respect that decision. As it stands now, you have no tools against the wall. You have no tools against the cage fight. And so it's going to have to be a Death Blossom and a cage. Only that to fight against the rush.
Yeah, and right now everyone's still in there, but we're seeing the hopefully trying to find something. SSJ gets a lot of people low. Eventually, it's going to pay off. Will delete them. The flip going to come through. Tred Gaming get to start out strong here, and they say, yeah, we're not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with us, and hits them with that Death Blossom.
And that's first point going over to them. Arena taken by Tred Gaming Esports, but it's at the cost of ultimately resetting their ultimate economy. Takuno close to Coalescence once again. Gucci has the idea of an EMP forming, but into this cage fight from Potfriend, Tred Gaming might just have to take the loss, because they might not have the focus fire to be able to take down Skytor. Will's moved over to the Mei, fair play to him. Going to allow some wall isolations and somewhat reduce the value that Takuno can find here, but I'm not quite sure it's going to be the best decision. Again, that's an ultimate that can be EMP'd away by Gucci.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Gucci, though, is sitting at 90% now, but gets hit with a headshot, and that's just going to be the cleanup then and there. Tekano, unfortunately, does end up investing with that Coalescence, and eventually will get deleted away. Potfriend's able to start out with that first fight now. A little bit of stall coming through from Tred, who's going to get a little more charge, but if anything, feeds off a little bit of charge, as Yoham and Straybor both going to have their support ultimates for this fight, and Tred Gaming just have an EMP, and again, do you try to use it aggressively?
EMP is pretty comfortable though. You can maybe even try an Ajax stray ball as a bit of a play you could make. SXJ can go for a flank should he want, but Potfriend's still going to likely look for a push in. If the EMP can cancel the beat, you can kill the beat, that's best case scenario. Skuno dying probably for the worst. You need an early pick here to trade it back, and this fight might just be cooked for TredGaming anyway. Gucci looks to live. If Gucci dies, it's worst case, and he's out at least.
Yeah, but managed to stay alive, so perfectly fine. Gonna have the EMP. And I imagine they probably want to try to use it aggressively. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't blame them in the slightest, because you lose this fight, you're losing this point, so gotta do something about it.
Indeed. Prash has been given time to charge up to the sound barrier as well, so they can now go Brawl for Potfriend, at least for a while. Once these DPS go online, oh, he just rips it.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. The beat's going to come out on both sides. Damage already done, though. Yoham ended up using that Cassini Rush and loses it, and thanks to that EMP, so a pretty even trade out here as SXJ does go down. Fight not over quite yet. Gucci trying to stay alive. Eventually the hack will pay dividends, and now our friend's going to have double DPS ultimates, but TredGaming, importantly, have that Death Blossom back on display, which went fantastic for them last time, and I think they can put themselves in a great position to make it work again.
I mean, they have reset their rules economy essentially with that. I mean,
yes.
Cage and the Death Blossom is a huge amount of firepower to jam the choke with, and with no survivability tools, Potfriend can't really do anything about it but Blizzard and hope that they're the ones left standing when all the kerfuffle's done.
Yeah, and I think this might be on Potfriend to try to be the aggressor here right now, and the excavation going to come online here, eventually looking to pull them down, and will be able to do so eventually. The Death Blossom does come online, does not catch anybody, a lot of people low. Sky Tour 1, eventually will get taken care of, and we're now coming down to potential final fight territory as Potfriends, they realize the situation, realize they don't have Sky Tour, want to have a small regroup here, but they're going to take the aggression instead, hoping to catch somebody out here. Nobody willing to go down, though, so Potfriends losing Yoham, though, near the end there from Captain Crash. And now this fight for Potfriends, it's not going to be the complete 5v5 they were hoping for.
It's barely a fight at this point. It might be worth just leaving the objective entirely, and it looks like they might actually do so. A touch just going to be cosmetic at that point. They will disengage. TredGaming 2-0 up here, looking to draw blood first on Flashpoint. And Potfriend might go down without a sound as Stray gets flattened by Treads.
That is incredible. And now you see the cleanup right there from TredGaming once again, hoping to get rid of Sky Tour, who still has it all. Gonna hold on to it, though. And now with this amazing cleanup, we're going to see them probably get to this third point first and likely just be able to unlock it as well. What a great cleanup. I mean, this is the TredGaming that we wanted to see from Map 1 Spectrion.
Oh, most definitely. Now you've got the EMP for the cage. The Tectonic Shock is going to be an issue for you, yes, but Crash has the beat, and you've got plenty of focus fire to try and shut down Zoda when the Venture lets the ult rip. And first cap for free for TredGaming. So comfortable for them. You've got choke control with a comp that absolutely loves stuffing the choke. And even though a touch comes through from Potfriend, this is so advantage for Tred.
Yeah, and you see just going for the regular hack there, gonna force it out, and now gonna go for the EMP. It comes out, but the damage has already been done. Straybor manages to get the beat out, and now TredGaming likely just playing for the stall. Potfriends have the double investment tech and hoping to find something with this. A lot of pressure being given though, and Potfriends getting cleaned up. Zodiel doing absolute work on the Venture. Eventually will be able to clean things up. 51%. TredGaming invests 3 ultimates to try to win that fight to match Potfriends 3 that they use, so not a bad investment. Unfortunately, that beat was so well timed from Straybor.
I mean, as well, Gucci just turned his brain off to go for that EMP. He got pokes out before it and tries to rip it instead of either waiting to get healed up or wait to see if it was needed. As it stands, yeah, he cancels the ult, but at what cost his life? And adds a 5v4 that TredGaming are almost never going to convert. They're back in here with the combo that's won them many, many fights before, but again, Potfriend have the Blizzard to try and punish it.
Yeah, now the more time you take, the worse is going to be off right now because you're at final fight territory. Already putting the Venture in a really weird situation. XXJ, and not going to have as much as they're going to go up. They're looking to teleport. Eventually going to be able to do so as here comes the aggression. Going to throw it directly, trying to throw it directly on their face. Just jumps into the freeze, willingly so, and now TredGaming will get cleaned up, and that's going to spell the end of that third point. Potfriends finally giving themselves something, and TredGaming is a really good Death Blossom that's worked out really well for them so far.
That's just a questionable decision from SXJ. I think he thought he broke LOS in the center of the Blizzle, but simply hadn't. Freezes in an attempt to find some value with the Reaper ulti and gives over the first flashpoint to Potfriend. Going for another mid-rotate fight, Cage popped by Skytor.
Yeah, it's incredible, and Tred is just deleted right now. The rest of the members now just in a rough situation. You can't think to use anything into this. You just need to think to try to get out or try to find a random pick here, but you're just in no man's land now. You are in no man's land, and right now, SSJ is literally just getting tossed around by all the Potfriends, and eventually, we'll see the rest to back out. Potfriend will be able to start out with the point, and don't invest anything to do it. Like, oh boy.
I mean, yeah, Potfriend have almost everything. Even Will's getting relatively close to the Blizzard, and Tred, Cageless, SXJ still feeling the remnants of that Blossom. They're pretty significantly behind. This has to be the EMP of Gucci's life, and so far they have not been stellar here, Hunter. Again, a wide push. They want to take some wider angles, and also pops again aggressively from Potfriend.
Yeah, excavation online though, hoping to find something, but we do have a lot coming through from Tekano with that coalescence to try to keep people up. But again, they need to not separate, and SXJ unfortunately gets left behind. This fight gonna be really difficult to bring back. I really want to see Gucci hold on to this EMP. As the beat's going to come online now, as Gucci has found Zodiel, we're back at the 44, and now we have to see if Skytour is willing to invest or not. As the EMP's gonna come out anyway, they're going for Baroque here. Unfortunately, the point is trying to flip. Unfortunately, it won't, if Potfriends will clean out this fight. Another ultimate going down the drain, and Potfriends should have no problem capping this one out, taking us to the 5th point.
Crosswise there from TredGamingEsports. It's fine if you don't want to spend ults so you can bleed your opponents dry. That's a pretty reasonable fight plan. And if they'd done that, then they would have been a great spot here. I mean, maybe 4 ults to 2, and when it comes to 3rd and final, or 5th and final flashpoint, my mistake, then they would have a very significant advantage. Your other option is to ult very heavily to try and win out that fight, but because Gucci EMP is so late, he sacrifices Tred just waiting around. The beat comes through, and I thought that was the time they were going to repressure, but just because the repressure is so spread out, then Potfriend can weather the storm, and now here on Ducks, Potfriend are the ones who have a little bit of a momentum advantage. Ults as well. TredGamingEsports is going to have to come up clutch.
Yeah, this could be the make or break for them in this year's SSJ. Put themselves in a weird situation. It gets taken out by Zodiel. A nice wall to try to separate Tred, try to drain them away. Both tanks just trying to drain each other away. Unfortunately, Tred would not with the support that they would hope. And now, clean up Potfriend. Gonna start out with the point once again. Tred Gaming still gonna have a decent amount to offer in this next fight, but Potfriend's just... they've taken all the momentum that Tred Gaming previously had.
I only really see a way Tred Gaming winning out this, or any point actually, is with some really well-timed disengages or a huge mistake from Potfriend, because if they can kite on ultimate, then they can get a bit of an advantage. Any way you just cycle and layer ults though here is going to lead to Potfriend just winning it out, especially with this Satanic Shot close, so TredGamingEsports firmly on the back foot.
Yep, now 45% already activated. Gonna be a rough one here as this is getting closer to final fight territory, as right now you see Gucci setting up the back line, likely to see some kind of aggressive push, and there's that aggressive push. SSJ in the back line, though, getting moved away. The cleanse is out. SSJ is going to drop down onto the point. Eventually going to try to force Potfriend to go down. Here it comes online. Just going to bait them away. Eventually will get drained. The point is not going to flip either. Excavation online, and now it is down to Tred to try to find something, but they're being drained away one by one. They're held inside, but it's no problem to them at all, and it's just down to Tred Gaming to try to force some touches. The beat's still online for Captain Prash. It'll come out. They'll have the touch. They'll go to overtime, but with Skytour still alive, still with a lot of support, there's nothing that is going to stand in the way of Potfriends. Tred Gaming had an amazing thing going on those first 2 points. A couple of bad ultimates ultimately end up being their downfalls. They're trying to find some kind of momentum, trying to bring this one back, but nobody on Potfriends willing to go down, save for Zodiel. But the damage has been done, and Potfriends put themselves on match point.
That they do, and by a reverse sweep too. That's going to be absolutely brutal to TredGamingEsports, to their mentals, and to their chances in the series too. As you mentioned, a reverse sweep going to be necessary. 4 maps in a row for TredGamingEsports to take the title. Potfriend, I mean, they can almost smell the victory at this point. They can surely taste it, because with the absolute momentum on their side, with how well they're winning out pretty much every compositional matchup we've seen so far, I mean, yeah, surely they have to be the ones taking this championship, right? I mean, we're going to have to see a step up of heroic proportions, right? TredGamingEsports feels like has been outmatched when it comes to everything. On the Winston, they were 1 step behind. On this Malga, a couple of strange flubbed ultimates meant that they were constantly 2 were on the back foot, and even before that, I mean, first fight, outcomps and outmatched as well. They have consistently been the ones trying to respond. Potfriend have been the pacemakers. They have been the trend setters here. And because of that, they are just a single map away from a championship.
Yeah, and it's going to be very incredible as well because, I mean, it just becomes a very unfortunate situation for Tred Gaming. Like, we've seen them bring the fight in all 3 of these maps and just come up short. It feels like that gap that we saw on that first map has been just, like, slowly getting tighter and tighter and tighter. But this needed to be tight from the beginning, and it hasn't been, so I'm struggling to think about how they're going to come back, but it is that first of 4. They will get another opportunity, but of course, going to go to our halftime break first, and we're going to see if Tred Gaming can make the comeback of a lifetime. We'll find out after this break.
Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Welcome back, everybody, from our halftime for the grand finals of the EUPC division. And Potfriend so far have been on a tear, 3-0 here, only one map to go to claim themselves as the champions of their tier. And Tred Gaming trying to bring that gap and close it more and more and more, but have not been able to yet. And now Spectrion, they've only got one opportunity left to be able to do so, and they're already just completely backs against the wall.
It has been loss after heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss for Tred Gaming Esports. Constantly knocks on their behind, and Potfriend just a single map away from taking it all. Got our map coming up next. We know where they've decided to take us next, and Colosseum is going to be where they try and fight back. But it's going to have to be like a cornered rat here, Hunter. I mean, we were speaking about it in the halftime break, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure exactly how you'd want to play this. You know, in terms of the hit scan duel, it's been Zodiel who does prefer to play the Sojourn. Edwards Cassidy is more of Gucci's wheelhouse, and these sightlines Colosseum are very favorable to the Sojourn. When it comes to the brawl fundamentals, generally, I'd say that Potfriend, with their tenure, with their coaching, have been able to have a better offer. And even though I do love Tred's calls, I think he can be an incredibly creative shot caller, especially when he's given the opportunity to flex on a map that gives him the opportunities for that. This isn't that. I would not say that this map is at all Colosseum is so linear that there's not really room to use any of that shot calling. It's just down to your individuals not making mistakes, hitting the shots when tested. And so far, that has very much been Potfriend's purview.
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with that one, but there has to be some kind of confidence or some kind of meaning for Tred Gaming taking it this way, because we talked before getting into things, we would have thought that Esperanza might have ended up being the pick instead, which we seem to both agree with, but Colosseum is going to be a bit of a rough one, but I think you're in a situation now where even if you go ahead and win this map, Potfriend is going to get pick after pick after pick in the maps, just like we have had so far with Tred Gaming. So I think you're in a scenario where you realize we have to beat them at this. Like, we have to try to beat them at this, because if we can't beat them at it with this map, we're not going to be able to do it with the other one. So I can't say I necessarily blame them. I just wish they wouldn't keep picking the maps that they've lost to them once already. That's where my wheelhouse is at with that. But gotta have something in mind going into their last stand here going into LSU.
No subs for either team. Their starting 5 is what they want to live by, the sword for which they're going to live or die by. And for Potfriend, I think that does make a little bit more sense. Having Skytrain has really produced results. And while NKZ is an absolutely fantastic player, it seems like Skysor has just been the bane of Tred Gaming Esports as of yet. See the comp there hovering in spawn. I can't imagine they're going to be too much counter swapping, too much baiting of our casters. Sig Poke, Sig Brawl, in fact, is an interesting way of taking it. I don't think Sig is crazy strong right now, but neither do I think he's crazy weak. I do think that what you have to do is you have to kite, because if Potfriend are able to get in close, you're going to really struggle. If you can kind of maintain that Sig range, comfortable poking range, you're going to be a lot better, though, when you can use that shield, that grass to mitigate that damage. The Fist of the Ramacha will be your bane. But considering Potfriend, at least from what we see in spawn, is playing the what I would call hard meta, BAP, Tracer, Sojourn style of Ramacha gameplay, then it could mean that Tred Gaming Esports are the one to turn up the tempo, at least in this first engagement, Potfriend make adaptations afterwards.
Yeah, and I think it's important to take that first fight. Like, it's important in general when we get into a place like Push, but I think for Colosseo, it's definitely a really important one here, being able to open up those fights. You gain a lot of control from taking that very first fight, and that's just the point in general with Overwatch that we see. But at the same time here, we're gonna get back into things, and yeah, they're gonna stick with this. Wow, the May as well. That is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the May is just to play this as a true Sig Brawl style. Gucci on the Sojourn for the pick pressure. He's going to Orchid Jewel into Zodiel, who does have a bit more resources to take as a DPS player, but Skysor is going to be on the defensive very likely, unless he gets in super, super close.
Yeah, I mean, 100% here is right now Tred Gaming just trying to maintain a little bit of distance. Taking a bit of time here. Potfriend's not willing to take the aggression quite yet. Kind of just waiting for the right opportunity to be able to do so as they take this loop around. Want to take a little bit of pressure, but a nice little separation there for our Tred, who needs to be able to stay alive as Straybor already down from Potfriends, and now Tred not really with the ability anymore to kind of get out of there, so they're going to have to try to run for their lives as best they can.
Yeah, that they are. Instant progress here for Tred Gaming. They are so much more comfortable. It feels like on this Ramatra, or on this... oh my god, that Railgun could have taken care of Prash, but SXJ finds a pick.
Yeah, fantastic, honestly. Will going to be out of this fight kind of early, and Zodiel going to be forced around, so Tred Gaming, fantastic start for themselves so far, but they do have to keep this going because Skytor is, or more so Zodiel, already going to have this ready to go.
Yeah, they can just burn time, wait until they're in a comfortable position. Notice how they're not pushing any further. They don't want these long sight lines.
Yeah, Window going to be online, though, so that Animatrix going to get them a little bit more space, but Zodiel nearly gets taken out, and Will by Tred, so... Potfriend's not really able to stop this Sigma so far from Tred, who's maintaining a lot of space for them as Skytor trying to go in, but they have to back out. They have to take the reset.
So far, it feels like Tred Gaming Esports are just on fire this map of Colosseo. They have not yet dropped a fight, and Skytor getting poked out on the bridge hold wouldn't last forever. Window pop, though.
Yeah, they're going to double down on this, and SSJ going to be in a really rough situation when they come out of this year. Has a lot of pressure their way. Going to throw in the freeze, though, hoping to find something. Doesn't end up catching anybody, but buys them space, buys them time, and buys them a little more meterage as well, as Potfriend's hoping to go on the aggression. Going to have the Annihilation, but probably not going to have to use it here, Spectrion, as it looks like Potfriend's finally going to put a stop at 55 meters.
Good progress, though, definitely. And using the Blizzard there, I really don't hate it at all. It allows SXJs to live a little longer. If you can stable there, then Tred Gaming could repush, maybe with a beat, maybe with a flux. But as it stands, that's Potfriend getting their first meterage. Not too much whatsoever, but they will be able to get some progress on the board. 2 fights going to be needed from Potfriend, I believe, to equalize. But Tred Gaming coming back into this next engagement with a vengeance. 4 check marks here, Hunter.
Yeah, right now Straybor going to be very big in this fight. He's going to have that beat ready to go for Tred's Flux, which is going to be a very powerful ultimate as well. Doing a little sneaky sneak. Not very sneaky anymore, actually. Just I think, trying to draw a little bit of attention, honestly, and it's working dividends right now. Forcing TredGaming to separate us. They're going to go for the Flux, and they're tripling down on this fight, Spectrion. And so far, eventually looking like they're going to be able to clean things up. They're going to quadruple down as Tred's going to eat that pulse bomb. And eventually, Potfriend's going to fall after using a lot in return.
That's a best case scenario for TredGaming. They have to spend heavily to win out the fight, yeah, but their opponents do so too. And when you're playing a comp like this Sigma composition, you're super scared about that Annihilation being used to just run you over. You don't have tools to stop that out. But because the Annihilation finds absolutely nothing, Potfriend have to make changes, and Tred is still making progress.
Yeah, now they're not going to be able to really touch this point either. Trying to force it, but eventually, Stretch. Gonna be a lot for TredGaming. Potfriend's just gonna wait it out. Try to get this this Amatrix online, I believe, but taking a little bit of aggression. Oh, Tred, I don't want to be there right now if I were you.
Are you getting freeze? No one freezes. It's awkward.
Again, it buys a little bit of space, but you're back in a 4v4 situation where you aren't gonna have your tank to combat, so I think you just gotta take the L here, Spectrion. You just take the L, you all try to get out, and looks like they will be able to, actually.
Yeah, the pressure onto Skytor means that there was a second there I thought TredGaming could turn that back around, but that whole fight was incredibly awkward. I mean, TredGaming do a great job of, you know, aggressing early, bullying the choke, make it hard for Potfriend to ward, but once they did, it seems like TredGaming weren't really set up to receive that, and so once they were out, Potfriend were basically in the home stretch. Speaking of it, back into the center of the map, and in this poke-heavy style, we'll see if the Sig matters more than the Tracer. This is about a 50-50 duel here, Hunter.
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree. Zodiel has an opportunity here, gets a shot, doesn't manage to get the finish though, and now putting in a really weird situation. Tekno able to keep them survive for a little longer. A nice trifecta shot there from Zodiel, gonna be able to clean up this fight and should be able to live too. And now Potfriend's finally gonna get some momentum and some meterage.
Gucci does... Oh, Takuna, sorry, does find a stagger kill, and that is the Baptiste. So if it comes to a fight, Potfriend will have to give up. So as soon as the respawns come through, Potfriend are going to be booking it back through the archway, so the progress not going to be too overwhelming at all. TredGaming still in a pretty comfortable spot, but Potfriend have drawn blood.
100% here as shield going to be used, buying a little bit more space right now as you see the full back out, want to take that fight as soon as they're willing to stop on the corridor, because Potfriend's got plenty of time to take. They can waste a little bit of it, quite honestly, and eventually wait for TredGaming to make a mistake. But, well, that's not the mistake you want to be making, and now going to be forced out. Skytor likely not going to be able to get out themselves, but a little bit of separation, trying to keep everybody alive, and so far, able to get out of there together so far, Spectrion. Oh, no.
Yeah. It's just still action, still fighting on the side of the objective, in fact. TredGaming have managed to get the objective back into the center of the map, but just these ult trades are so strange.
Yeah, it's trading back and forth, and eventually Potfriend's looking like they're going to fall over. They lose two more, and now Skytor manages to get one, but damage already done as the point already trying to go their way back. Strayboar still alive, and Will's coming back, so eventually should force Tred to back out just a little bit here.
But with this kind of Soj, Bap, Sig core, you're still so survivable as TredGaming. You don't really need to give up if you don't want to. Fearing the respawns though, fearing the 5-on-3, they do back, at least for now. TredGaming, all things considered, in a pretty okay spot. But this next fight is going to be the make or break. Because if Potfriend can win out economically, they can start snowballing. As they take away high ground, TredGaming has to leverage it to buy both time and ults.
I mean, yep, 100% here, Potfriend. Will still having that freeze ready to go here. Could use it the moment that TredGaming decides to drop down, but they don't really have to right now, but just trying to force Tred to be able to back off and give up this area to them. Trying to get the bot under the bridge as Will, again, just waiting for their opportunity because, again, 3 minutes, still plenty of time. This fight's going to be super important as they're eventually going to have to give it up, and now they're just going to go for the backside instead, and here comes the aggression!
Oh, wow.
Gucci on the scene, hoping to clean things up here, and eventually looking like they'll be able to, and now Skytor invest, and that's going to be a failed investment, Spectrion.
I mean, there is a kill there from Johan, but it does not matter. In the end, Gucci puts a pretty succinct full stop on things with a headshot onto Straber, and TredGaming back in control of the robot. I said they had to bait ults, and they do. That's an annihilation. Skytor's going to be wanting back. Tred, again, in the lead when it comes to the check marks here. And the May of Will, I think it's fair to say, hasn't found wall value, hasn't really found poke value, and these blitzes, I mean, they haven't been inspirational, I'll put it that way. So back into the center of the map, back into poke, where typically Tred's comp is going to have a bit of a lead. I mean, TredGamingEsports looking to take their first here.
Yeah, honestly, it's super important fight coming up here right now. For Tred Gaming, we're gonna loop around this time around, try to separate. Zodiel gonna be in a weird position as the freeze is gonna come online, and a lot of members gonna be caught, gonna get drained away. The rest of Tred Gaming just gonna be forced out, might just want to try to die on this cart, and that's exactly what they're gonna do, Spectrion.
Yeah, using the Blizz, or using the Speed, sorry, to engage makes you a perfect target for the Blizzard. You don't have that same level of oomph, for lack of a better phrase, to kite you or radius, and so a perfectly timed Blizzard from Will punishes. In a time where we're calling the May into question, Potfriend now can begin expending and getting closer to that forward spawn. Straight Gaming have to recontest.
Yep, and we see right now Zodiel trying to make their way back, going around the area as well, eventually gonna regroup a little bit, gonna get stunned. Gonna be in a really rich situation, but a great wall from Will as they're gonna loop around the other side. But that bot's currently being taken away, Spectrion.
They have to go aggressive with the overclock.
Yeah, and the Flux comes online, and that's 3 people caught inside of it. A lot of people getting low for Potfriend as the beat going to be forced out. A freeze thrown down, trying to cause separation, and it's going to separate Will super far from the team. Will eventually force them to go down. And again, Tred Gaming, even if they lose this fight, they've taken the bot, they've stolen it back the other way, and Potfriend just are at a loss right now.
It's still rough. Tred is still low. Looks like he will be healed up, and a railgun from downtown takes care of Skytor. A super strange fight from Tred Gaming, but great observancy to recognize that you can just steal the rope and stolen right back though. But all the kills still blue. I mean, they're still in control. It's not so bad at all for Tred Gaming. But down to 20 seconds here. Now all they need to focus on is drawing out ults from their opponents and saving as many as they can. They only need the one fight win now, and they need to make it perfect.
Yep, it's going to be a rough one here for Potfriend. Got to make a couple of good fights happen, but again, they just get the advantage and they just back off of that fight. Which, honestly, fair point. They want to take a better opportunity, but SSJ is a little bit of a weird situation right now. Uh-oh.
Bro, what are you doing?
Bro's throwing... Wait, immortality? Wait, what? Do they live? They're alive, right? They're still alive?
No way!
They're gonna live?
No way!
There's no way.
I'm flabbergasted. Tred's killing people. There's no way they win Colosseum like that.
And now Tred's brought the advantage over. Will has to find something, doesn't find anything. It's going to cause the separation a little bit here. Yoham going to go over to the Kiriko, try to help out with a touch, but Tred is just deleting man after man. And now Tred Gaming just need to finish out these last couple of members, hoping to be able to do so, but Captain Prash taking a lot of damage as the rock weirdly timed right now. Skytor is going to come back with this flux, but it might not be soon enough to lead it, and Tred Gaming, they are starting the reverse sweep strong. They bring in some confidence with Coliseum, and I mean, what do you make of that Tred Gaming right there, Spectrion?
I don't think there's a single person in the universe who could tell you how SXJ lives there. It's great rotation of cooldowns to stay alive. Yeah, your wall, your freeze, and the lamp from downtown, but... Like, while I can say that all that happened, I still just don't see how he didn't die. Surely there should be focus fire. Surely there should be attention on the lone May that Will has walled off on his lonesome. No ice, no wall, no nothing. That is ridiculous, but I gotta say, this SIG comp that Tred's cooked up, it is working wonders for them. Going back to an older meta, finding some success. I mean, I do think SIG is a little bit better on this new patch with, of course, the headshot changes and whatnot, especially with your primary fire being good enough at, taking care of the armor, unlike a lot of other tanks. But I think there's a difference between having a strong comp and just being strong at a comp, and I think this most definitely is the latter. Thinking about reverse sweep, though, means your opponent has map picks for the rest of the series, could go the whole 7. If Tred continue battling back against the odds, can they do so against Potfriend, who can now do all they can to legislate against this Sigma, try and force their opponents onto something they know they're a little bit more uncomfortable on, like the Ram, like the Manga.
Yeah, but the one thing you have to take into consideration is we are going to Escort, which has been really well known for kind of bringing out the Sigma in a lot of scenarios, so I don't think there's an absolute ton you can do in comparison to some of the other picks like Control down the line, but Shambali might end up being a pretty good one, Spectrion. In fact, it's probably the best of the bunch of the situation. Definitely a good one for their Mantra, definitely for the Manga as well, but you can still make the Sigma work here. But it's going to take a lot, I think a little bit more than it took originally on Coliseum.
I'd agree with that, yeah. You're not given as many of these 50-50 fights.
Yeah.
But I think that makes it easier for the defense if you're Ramattra versus Sigma. harder both ways, actually, just because of how the high ground's going to work. So Sigma is going to be a lot less of a 50-50 fight than the Ramattra would be. So if you're willing to take the advantage defense and the downside on the attack side, it's not so bad. It's going to be super weird, though, because you don't have that same ability to just fight over the cart almost indefinitely. You can with that Ramattra. That block is just such a powerful ability when you're in that Nemesis form. Whereas with Sigma, obviously you have that same level of sustainability, even more so at long range when you're taking these poke fights. And your ultimate arguably is even better. Remember, with these changes as well, might not find as much value as it could on a map like Colosseum, but still could be catching some players unawares. No more LOS required for that Gravitic Flux. And if I am Tred Gaming, yeah, I'm just going to start on the defense. It's going to be so much easier for them, and I'm not changing up my composition come hell or high water.
No, you found the one thing that genuinely works against this team, so you're going to keep running that. That is as simple as it is. And I want to see them keep running out the Sigma, and I think the moment we see them decide to try to swap it up heavily, I think that's when we're potentially going to see this team break down once again like we've seen in previous outings, but gotta have some faith in them going into Shambhala here. Like I said, Tred Gaming going to be starting on the defense, and I'm most interested in what Potfriends want to start out with here. I imagine it's the Malga or the Ramattra, or maybe they're ballsy and try to beat their own Sigma, which they are, they're just betting a little bit. Why not?
I would very much expect a Ram. I don't think there's much reason to change it up. I think they did struggle with the Ram into Sigma on last map, but I think it's more of a map thing than anything else. I think that, I mean, Shambhala is the home of Ramattra in lore, yeah, but also just in terms of actual play, he's just so good here. His just ability to just jam the choke, sit there, be annoying, and as well as have access to some like longer range poke. That kind of middle ground, that sweet spot, is exactly why he's played so often. And Sky's now hovering him. Potfriend beginning to congregate towards the competition that they want to play. And if I'm Tred Gaming Esports, you want to play this poke for as long as possible. Just drop 2 contested cart and try and get a quick assassination. Because if they just try and play a kind of super extended fight, eventually Tred will get overran.
Yep, see Zodiel gonna go back over to that Sojourn. So interestingly enough here for Tred Gaming, as I mean, Potfriend just have to be able to force their way onto the high ground, or just eventually force Tred to come off of that high ground themselves. And both are doable, but both are not going to be easy.
I definitely agree with that. Right now, it's just a poke. Both teams jostling for some sort of position, some sort of mistake, some sort of ultimate, and the push to high ground, not what I expected at all, actually.
Yep, honestly, really good awareness right there to kind of back off that area right now. SSJ already taking care of Will and Sky Tour, just getting drilled into right now, as right now Tred focusing on staying alive, and now in a weird situation is Zodiel, who has the support of their team. Both are going to be able to stay alive, so another reset as Zodiel will go down, and Potfriends, again, going to get taken down this first fight. This might really be the secret sauce for them, Spectrion.
And all these deaths have been so daisy-chained for Potfriend that they might well give another one here. Johan, you have to live, and instead he just goes down. So that's just minutes worth of consecutive deaths from Potfriend. They haven't really been able to take a full 5v5, and that's the reason you don't walk high ground, because one good rock and that's it. This time I'd expect them just to force cart. I mean, look how close they are to ults as well. Tred Gaming have this next fight surely on lock.
I mean, yeah, 100% here is Tred, very interestingly, making sure the other people on both sides as well, so if you invest on one, kind of leaving an empty slot on the other to kind of be hit from, and Tred Gaming having a lot of ultimates already going to be online here. This freeze especially so when it's going to be thrown directly into the face of Skytor, who's going to get hit with it, but SSJ gets deleted, basically trading their life for Skytor back to the 4v4. But Potfriends, they will get Skytor back much quicker. It should be able to kind of just stay alive and wait for them to come back.
Yeah, if I'm Tred Gaming, I'm doing all I can just to hunker down on the objective, and when I see the one player come back, then you can W key back. They're going to go for kills, though.
That's crazy. They're trying to find something here, as we're going to see the double investment here, as Zodiel going to match it directly back. Hasn't found anything, but most importantly, does gain a bunch of space. Doesn't get anybody, as Will goes down now, and now you're in a rough situation where you might have to invest if you're Potfriends, as they've made next to no progress so far after 2 full minutes, and it's looking like with that window out, they're going to be pushed back even further.
That is so lovely. I mean, Tred Gaming recognize that they have a 4-on-4. Their advantage in tank v no tank, and they just keep on snowballing. This is the same advantage under that they've had since the very beginning of this map.
Oh, that's going to be nasty, but he comes online, does not catch onto Johan, though, or Zodiel. And now this fight basically over once again. XSJ needs to be kept alive by their team, though. Looking like they're trying. Looks like they might not be able to do so, and they won't. But still, another fight win in only 32 meters right now for Potfriend.
silver lining though, Potfriend have finally been able to reset the ult bank of TredGaming, so there's no longer just an absolute fortune of check marks here to push them back when they try to get jiggy with it. 3 check marks and not too bad at all, the most powerful ones. Blizzard, Disannihilation, this is great area denial. Captain Prash mode have to be strong with the beat and even stronger with the speed if they're going to disengage all this.
Yeah, gonna separate a little bit. Not gonna be able to have a touch anymore from Tred over in that original area. That's gonna work out really well. And Johan gets deleted! Oh my goodness! Raving out Straybor. Just trying to fend out best they can. Will has themselves in a bit of a tight situation, but a good trade out here is they're gonna debate using the freeze, and it's gonna come out from SXJ instead. Who's going to catch on one, going to cause the separation once again as Skytor is hoping to find something, but that all might as well have been thrown down the drain.
At 25 seconds as well, I don't see the vision. You have a touch for sure if one of your DPS goes for a swap of anyone in fact, but instead they just sacrifice, you stagger yourself, and now Tred has no time to stop him from just walking into your spawn.
And they mess up the freeze too! They're not gonna get a touch at all! They're trying to see if they can get one from the side. Great tech there from Skytor. Damage has been done. Only 80 meters going to be online for Potfriend, and TredGaming look like an entirely different beast right now.
Sigma's the way. There's no two ways about it. Sigma's just the way for them. They are running over Potfriend, who... I mean, you compare map 1 to this, and you could swap the names around. I believe you, man. TredGaming are absolutely on fire. So dominant right now. And I gotta say, I love the trash talk we've been getting, mainly Will, from the side of Potfriend, and now all of Tred is in the chat. There's Tred, there's SXJ, and although no one's responding just yet, trust me, you feel that. Trust me, that gets in your head.
Yes,
dude, there is so much personality in these 10 players in this server. It just makes for even better entertainment. But that, even though it was a full hold for TredGaming, even though it was a stellar defense, there was still significant progress given over onto the car. 80 meters plus that they're going to have to reach on their own terms, and it might just be that Potfriend aren't able to mount a defense. It might just be that they are, so we can't write them out of this map just yet. I do gotta say though, I've heard a couple of players from Tred say that Potfriend can give it, but they can't take it, and right now, pretty quiet from him.
I mean, you're 100% correct, and the biggest thing for Potfriend is they are going for this close hold right now, and this is a very big make break. If they get beat on this first fight, like that's gonna be devastating for Potfriend. So you gotta hope they can take a minute or two off the clock here. But TredGaming, I think are gonna be smart enough to see it and instantly be able to back out and avoid that wall. And they saw the fire strike; they know.
So now they know. What do they do to try and crack it out? Do they want to go back to spawn and try and swap up, or are they just going to play the actual comp on comp, and that's what they want to do?
Oh, yeah, pick already down here, but most important thing is for SSJ to try to find somebody here. They're hiding around the background. They're going to be a little separated, little bit of trouble, and eventually, I was going to say should be taken down, but they're staying alive, and that's pretty important as Potfriend just doing a good job of staying alive, and that's not the trade out you want, though. Will being down is going to be a little devastating for them.
Closer spawns for Tred as well. I mean, you need to force a kill here lightning fast, and if you don't, you have to back up as far as possible. It doesn't happen, Skytor dies.
Oh, yep, that's going to be the cleanup right there. Just a couple of last-minute stalls. You do buy close to a minute, which is pretty nice, but yeah, are you going to swap it up at all is the question, and it doesn't really look like
Kinda can't. Otherwise, you put yourself so far behind on ultimates, you don't have a chance at any later fight. I don't think it's a terrible decision for Potfriend. It allows them to find 2 fights for sure, but these are not particularly strong fights, and knowing what you're playing into now, Potfriend not having that advantage of position in the same way, TredGaming has so much more advantage. Gucci dies again, man.
Yeah, little devastating there, but you get the ability to kind of back out. Tred is going to be in a pretty bad situation, though. Is still going to be able to stay alive from eating all of that damage in, and TredGaming might give themselves an opportunity to try to stay in this one. Got a lot of low people, but Tred unfortunately being taken care of as the freeze ends up being thrown in from SXJ, and that's not the first time we've seen a bit of a weird ult from them. But the wall going to cause separation, perhaps just the wrong way, but the damage is being done, Spectrion.
They're still finding kills. Prash and Sukuna both fragging. That's the backline coming out clutch, and even though the BAP goes down, the window has found its value. Prash is still finding kills. Prash is still finding kills!
Has to be the biggest shatter of Skytor's life. They have it. They're descended. They're going to get just Tred, and the beat comes online, going to separate them a little bit as the... I saw the freeze come out.
Where'd the Blizzard go?
Where? Blizzard moment? Hello?
Is he throwing it in the sky to try and punish?
I have no idea what they have done, but it is not here anymore.
I didn't see it get eaten. There's still Flux online, though. This car is still going to be a brutal place to stand from Potfriend.
Yep, and now you're going to catch Straybor in that. There's no way they're going to live from this. That's 2. Yoham trying to keep this team going right now, hanging around with the damage already being done as Skytool and Yoham only ones remaining. And just like that, Spectrion, we go from 3-1 to 3-2. Tred Gaming halfway there to a massive reverse sweep. And you got to be starting to bet a little bit of money on this team. C9!
Dude, I love Treads, man. They are rubbing it in their noses. I gotta say, I love the mental games. There's so much. I said it, it's personality, man. It makes all the difference. I gotta say as well, where did the Blizzard go? I've never seen that before. I'm gonna be back in the replay trying to figure out exactly how that's all worked out, but Sigma is the way. Potfriends are just bamboozled by this pick. They have no idea how to play against it. Just the poke phase where they've been playing so much for their success, no longer theirs to play with, and I just think they can't really mirror out a player of the caliber of Tred when it comes to the Sig. They don't even want to try. Again, it's going to be a Potfriend pick, but you've lost Shambali. Where do you go next?
I mean, it's going to be a bit of a rough situation, isn't it? Because now you also don't have Nepal anymore, which you've taken the win on. You do have Oasis still available, but Tred Gaming beat you at that before, so I don't think the trend was working very well for Tred Gaming picking maps they lost previously. So it's a bit of a weird situation, because do you just try to force this Ramatra again? Because there was a bit of closeness when we look back at Colosseo, and when we see this Ryan come out, it just wasn't even close. They were able to run them down, but oh boy, Spectrion.
I think it's fair to say that the Ryan is just a gimmick pick. You got rolled so hard. You know, they tried the Ram on the attack, found absolutely nothing, and you got to try something at that point. You know, when you've got the full hold going. Map has been picked though, and we'll take a look at it now. It's gonna be an Oasis, which I'm interested by, actually. I think it's pretty fair. Normally the sidelines are going to be a little bit closer, so it should be a little bit easier to get into brawl scenarios with that Sig. I think that's kind of the Achilles heel that I spoke about earlier. But whether it's going to be enough or not is a different matter entirely. Right now, Tred just feel so dominant. They're winning out the mental game in chat. They're winning out the actual game, and so dominantly so in the server that I think there has to be a bit of mental boomage even coming over to the side of Potfriends. I don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows, even with another of their map picks for Potfriend. I don't want to curse it, Hunter, so I'm not going to call what I predict, but this game could continue to get exciting still.
Yeah, and I think a bit of this might come down to whether the fact that we get to University, because that is the one that's going to be the most closed in. It's going to favor that Ramatra comp the most, in my opinion. And so this is the situation we get when we get to control like this. But I think either way, a majority of those maps are going to be really good for Sigma. Still going to be good for Ramatra as well, but I do think there's a slight bit of opening for Dive, but I can't imagine there's a world where Tred Gaming decides to go down that route. So I'm more just interested in what Potfriends are going to do, and I unfortunately think it's going to be a lot of the same still.
Yeah, I struggle to see what curveball they can actually throw that they haven't already tried. I guess I really can't think of anything. All the strats they've played, I think, either wouldn't work into Sigma just based on the theory. For example, Manga is not going to get any healing whatsoever, going to give you so many railguns over to your opponents, and you can't really find that much wall value. I think that with the Ramatra we've already seen, I think, to be fair, that is their best option. But it's also been losing for them, and what have they really done outside of those two picks? You try a Winston on Oasis? That's creative, I'll give it that, and there is also always the threat that Tred can mirror it out, so nothing inspirational for me that Potfriend can do, but they've been given some time. PNR, their coach, has been in the lobby discussing what they could possibly make as an adaptation, so always could be a curveball, always could be a new strat from Potfriend. But will we see it, and will it find success?
Yeah, and I feel like this is that kind of I'll say weirdly that opportunity to kind of try that out and try to make that happen, because you don't want to be forced in that situation in map 7. You want to try to make something work here and now, because Tred Gaming, they've taken back all the momentum that Potfriend previously had. Like, they just have. So Potfriend need to also change things up at this point. They're fine on the Ramatra. They've done a good job throughout the series, but it has not done anything against this Sigma when it feels like it should, but it's not. So I really want to see something slightly different from them. If that means like going on to dive when we get to City Center, go for it. I think you're in that situation where if you wanted to try that, you could. But of course, gotta see if we get to City Center in the first place to even see if that happens, because a little bit of luck Spectrion for Potfriends, I would hope, because we're going to be starting out on University.
That we will, and I think we've already mentioned how this is going to be the easiest map to force a Brawl on Brawl. I think that the normal strategy for Potfriend when seeing a Sigma is just a W key onto his head. The real threat here is the wall pressure of SXJ, because if they split themselves up whatsoever, then there is going to be a wall coming through. On the whole, looks to be a Winston. I'm not sure his DPS are real. Will, of course, will go for a TP and leave. Zodiel really hasn't wanted to play the Sojourn with the dive. I think that's super interesting. Actually, instead favoring the Venture. So it looks like they will go Venture, Tracer, Dive. Marking the off angles is going to be a huge pain for TredGaming. They're going to have to punish Skytor if and when he goes in. If they can't do that, then they're just going to be chasing Ghost the entire round here.
Yeah, nice TP though. Going to be able to get them through, and Gucci going to stay on that Symmetra as well. We see the aggression up top. Skytor going to be in a really awkward situation already. Gets deleted, but Tekono does get traded out in that situation for Potfriends. Looking like it's going to be a very good first fight for them as they're trying to get something done. Eventually we'll be able to. I feel like TredGaming probably don't want to go up there again.
Yeah, if Takuno doesn't get booped there, it's a great spot for TredGaming. But now they've seen what their opponent plays. We'll see what adaptations they make. Gucci Cassidy, fair enough, and Ramatra as well. So they've swapped off of their Sigma. They want to try and take it in the more neutral comps, and this is what Potfriend want, to force them off their comfort.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly got it, and now TredGaming just going to wait around, wait to move in together, because they probably just want to try to force this point right now. But Zodiel on this venture is a bit of a different story to kind of have to deal with, as they're going to try to make their way out, going to get punished a little bit, but no one going down quite yet, as TredGaming eventually just got to force their way onto this point, Spectrion, and for now, just constant dives in the backline. They're getting deleted once again. Tekono isn't going to live either.
Yeah, they're just getting ruined on these angles. I really think SXJ, be it after Blizzard or before, needs to start going Tracer, because right now nobody's looking at Zodiel, nobody's looking at Will as well, and I think Gucci is doing a good job so far, but it's just too free for them. The bubble pressure as well from Skytor, so I don't mind the adaptations we've seen out of Tred, but they are somewhat struggling with them still. It's got to, again, be punishes onto Skytor or Zodiel with a nade.
Yeah, exactly the punishment you needed here, and finally TredGaming looking like they got something working right now. Skytor going to invest here, hoping to find somebody with this. Unfortunately, not looking like they're going to be able to. Just need to stay alive, but they've got the double pick anyway?
It's a 3 versus 3. Closest spawn's going to be for Potfriend. They're going to have their respawns in a little bit earlier. Tred can still press it, though.
Yeah, and they're going to go and just try to back out of there as fast as they can, and it ends up being the right call, and now we're already into last fight territory.
Yeah, you have got the Kitsune out for nothing, though. You're coming up to all of your own ults as well. As long as you don't die to Pulse, TredGaming can just win the ult trade.
Yeah, this could be a massive Pulse. It's online, it hits. Unfortunately, not going to get rid of anybody, though. TredGaming have a lot to work with. All 5 ultimates. Might have to expend a couple of them if you really want to take this fight. In that Deadeye, looking like it's going to be able to buy them the point at the very least, but they still got to fight to win. It looks like they'll be able to do so with the double investment.
Yeah, I think they invested a fair amount to get a confirmed fight win there. They need that fight win. If they lose out, then, I mean, there's no point banking all for the next round, right? So, TredGaming, do what they need to. I gotta say, Will has been a huge threat for them. Still, I've got to hype him up because he has been absolutely terrifying. Even with these check marks here, they need to think of a way of shutting him down. Skyto, of course, has been over to the Malga, and in the Brawl on Brawl, TredGaming might have this one for free.
Yep, Excavation online, Tekono, gotta make sure to stay alive, and Crater Press going to go with the investment there, and now Zodiel needs to focus on staying alive.
Get beat.
Wait, what? Now Tred is dead, the freeze is online, but it catches nobody now, Spectrion.
It is terrible here for TredGaming Esports. Beat has to catch all 5 there. And now Tred has running back on the Doom Pistols already. It's stall picks here, Hunter.
This is absolute worst case scenario for them now. Now it is just the cleanup, and Tred needs to focus on touching. They get one, but the damage has been done, especially with a nice stick, and now Tred barely going to be able to even think about retouching this as they're getting all this attention in the world, and they're going to try, and they will eventually get the touch.
Yeah, it's still a terrible scenario. Overtime, if it can continue to be tagged on by Prash, it is going to continue. Tred dying, though, makes this almost an impossible scenario. It has to be a DPS, it has to be a pick, and it has to be found now.
It just isn't really going to right now, and SSJ gone means that fight will come into an end. Potfriends only one round away from putting themselves as the champions, and they're making themselves a pretty good case to do it one more time.
Another 4-2 final between Tred and Potfriend. We've seen this before, but going the other way so many months ago in a rainy hall in Kering. Could all be decided here on City Center, but we already mentioned that probably that was going to be the most favored point to what Potfriend might want to play. They want to read the monkey, though, with an Echo composition. They want to full burn Skytor. Zodiel won't be able to interact with this Echo, so as long as SXJ marks Will, TredGaming could have outcomped them. SXJ going to go for the teleporters, same as Will, so these Traces are going to be playing on the same timings as is the rest of the core. So it's just the Echo versus the Venture. Tank pressure from Gucci, pick pressure from Zodiel.
Yep. I like the adaptation of it as well here, as we see that double dive style. Gucci has to come up big on this fight. That is as simple as it comes down to. They have to come up big for this team, but already getting some attention. Zodiel eventually going to be forced out of that situation, and Gucci just needs a lot of help because Will is just constantly on top of them, delivering pressure to them as that point going to unlock momentarily, is hoping to find somebody, and Gucci just constantly in a bad situation.
And Will constantly in a good situation. Flip side of things, this Tracer absolutely dominant. And without your Echo, what chance do you have of securing a kill? Nada. As Tred goes down as well. First cap looks to be established by Potfriend. TredGamingEsports have nothing to say. We look at the check marks too. It's so far behind for everyone just because there's been no chance to even play the game. That fight was so quick, so defined by picks. TredGaming now without the ability to have the choke don't really have an easy way of establishing on and off angle, so they have to take this frontline trade, and they are losing that out somehow.
I mean, they just are. This isn't the same team that we just saw last map, because now they're being forced into this situation to counter the dive, and while Zodiel is down, Tred's in a rough situation, needs to stay alive. Tred is barely staying alive, and eventually will be taken out by Will, and again, another fight will go the way of Potfriend, and unfortunately for Tekno, not the place you really want to be, but we'll be able to get eventually Skytor a little bit.
It's really just deathmatch. People are dying all over the shop, but nobody's even able to reach the objective. Surely with Skytor going down, Tred have an opening, a timing to go in. Oh my god.
That was incredible. I really thought Will was going to go for that pulse bomb. Doesn't need it though, as we're just seeing the investment Tekno. They just need to find a pick this fight. The pulse is online, not going to catch anybody, but causes separation for Captain Prash right now, who's going to have the beat online, needs to have a presence ready to go as Potfriend have the ability to deliver a devastating blow as the pulse comes online, the beat going to be able to counteract it, and TredGaming able to pull this fight back. Need to finish off the last couple members and take this point, but 70% accounting Spectrion, a lot of the damage has already been done.
Yeah, by the looks of things, they need to get these staggers as slow as possible, and they need to start thinking about how they're going to win out these ult trays. There are some staggers, that's okay. And with a dupe, maybe onto actually plenty of good targets, anyone bar Lucio, you can still convert. But if you use both ults here, then Potfriend will be able to come in with their own and just win. So you need to go early, you need to go with the dupe.
Oh yeah, they're going in aggressive too, forcing the cleanse out. They're going to be willing to invest here. We see Venture going to use it. Tekno already down, and Gucci needs to find something on this copy. Unfortunately, nothing really available to them here. Damage has been done, and the point is flipping Spectrion.
This could be it. Last fight territory, remember, 80%. And though the kill's going in favor of TredGamingEsports, this 1v1 is so in favor of Zodiel. Prash able to survive.
Yeah, but Tred has found a Will now, so things evening back up here. Gucci's got to be careful not to go down here. Gonna have to be forced out of there just to stay alive. As Skytor gonna use the Primal to be able to do so, knocking around Gucci as best they can. Striveling, just trying to have as much pressure as possible, but I think the point should be ready to flip back over. Skytor just trying to get it to that 99%.
Yeah, but 99 is still a huge milestone. Yeah, there are respawns. Skytor is top back up. This fight still could go either way here.
It 100% could right now. This could go either way with that 4v4 situation. Just need to find something to cling onto as Will has a pulse bomb. Could be devastating. Gets onto Tred. Eventually gets rid of them as things even out once more. Tekno, 95% need to get this online, but they're getting deleted one after another. It will come online. Back in that 3 situation. Skytor doing their best to save alive. And Spectrion, TredGaming just holding on by a thread right now.
They're still alive, though. They've got the rush to play with, though. It will soon fade. Still waiting for those respawns. Also far away. If it goes long, then they can start charging into this beat. But this Kitsune rush allows them to turn the tempo up.
She is down, and they're not going to retouch either. Potfriend will take the title of EU PC Open Tier Champions. TredGaming tried so hard to fight back. Unfortunately, Potfriends found the secret sauce within the dive.
Another 4-2 final between these two teams, and again, another one that really could have went all the way. I gotta say though, if I'm Potfriends, I know I'm scattering to the wind like dandelions, but I'm doing so victorious. The last outing of this roster, the CGL Season 13 PC Open Champions. I mean, they didn't end on a loss, I can tell you that much now.
No, this is the ultimate way to go out on a team that's going to be separating, unfortunately. But that is just one heck of a way to go out, and I was scared for them for a while. They put themselves in a 3-0 situation. It looks like they've got it on lock, and Tred Gaming bring back the Sigma. They make some amazing things happen. Unfortunately, Oasis was that special sauce to bring it back to force the dive, and unfortunately, just a rough situation. But Tred Gaming deserve a lot of credit as well for bringing that one out pretty far, honestly. More than I thought they were capable of after getting in that 3-0 situation.
And I gotta say, I think that the main reason they were so dominant on the dive was Potfriend was just because Will. Literally, his Tracer was terrifying. He was so free all throughout Oasis. When he's given the opportunity to play that hero, especially in a comp that gives him as many resources as that, like the Curie Monkey comp, I mean, there was simply no answer. SXJ did what he could, but really, it was a constant threat in the backline. Takuna and Prash were constantly watching over their shoulders, and for good reason. Because, I mean, from Will, that was absolutely generational.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Hopefully we'll be able to discuss it a little bit because we're going to go to a short break. But when we come back, we are going to have an interview, so make sure you stay with us so we can celebrate with Potfriends, our champions of EUPC. Hello, everybody. Welcome back from the break as we just had the victory of Potfriend, eventually winning 4-2 over Tred Gaming, pulling it back from a potential reverse sweep situation. And of course, we can celebrate here because we have Will over from Potfriend. And of course, first and foremost, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I gotta first ask you, I mean, you just played such a long and grueling series. You eventually get it in the end. What do you think was the main factor that allowed you to eventually tip the scales and get Tred to lose? What do you think allowed you to take it on Oasis there?
I think it was probably the Venture pick, just because I think they have a slight mental block. Because I think most people, they would probably see Venture as like a cheesy pick. It's like playing, I don't know, it's like playing Torb or something. I don't know, Torb is even more viable. But I think people just think of Venture as like this like cheesy, funky character, right? So when they see it and they're losing to it, I think it really gets in their head. And obviously we started out playing it and we won on it, so it might have even had even more of an effect, you know?
And then, secondly, I want to ask about the 2 maps you lost. So obviously that was versus the Sigma comp of Tred Gaming. Was there anything specifically about that comp that you thought was an issue for you, or is it just really strong right now?
I think it's quite hard to play Rush into like a similar Rush, but with stronger poke, you know? Because in the poking phase, you just lose the resource trade, and you kind of feel forced to go, which I feel like going first isn't that good typically, unless it's small maps. But I also think we're just pretty bad at the matchup. I think it's pretty hard to play. I didn't play very well in that matchup. I think on Colosseo, I think the Mei swap was really good, but we just I think we choked a little bit just because it was like match point on whatnot.
100% understand there, but I mean, we look at today, but of course, there's been a whole journey, a whole 3+ months that has led to this point. So, what was kind of that journey like? Not just kind of throughout the regular season, kind of your journey through these playoffs as well. So, what was that whole journey like?
I think it was super fun. Like we're all just chilling and having fun. We're a friend group, you know. So showing up and just playing, I think it's always fun. Obviously there were some ups and downs, or we might lose to, you know, an on paper worst team and stuff, but we're pretty used to it, you know. So it isn't that grueling. It was pretty chill.
I do want to ask you, actually. I mean, just gonna cut in here, Hunter. I mean, obviously you guys have been playing together for such a long time. You know, Mind Goblin, Sheercold, Potfriends, Grill Masters, all those kind of teams that you and the kind of core have been a part of, and now you're all kind of going your separate ways, or you're on your own teams. That make this win feel a little bit bittersweet for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good way to end the journey, right? Obviously, we're probably gonna end up on teams together at one point again. You know, doesn't have to be everyone, but you know, we might end up on the same team platoon, the same players. But I think it's a really good end to like a team. You know, like it's nice nostalgia. It's gonna be really nice to look back upon. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a bit sad that we have to walk our different ways, but I think it was really fun to like run it back with the friend.
No, 100% agree. But of course, kind of with that in mind, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people that have contributed to the situation. So is there anyone you really want to thank for not just today, but for this season as a whole?
I mean, it's hard to thank a single person. Because I think we have a lot of people who've just been there and been very supportive. Like our whole roster have basically been there and been supportive. So I'd like to just thank the whole roster, to be honest, because we have a very, very proper team. People are showing up to the matches, which I think a lot of other teams maybe lag a bit behind with. But have to get so many players on the roster. But I think our team is very consistent, and we're all taking the time to show up and play. And I think I'd like to thank everyone for that. Our coach is also showing up and speccing, even though, you know, technically we're not really a real team anymore. It's just for CGL, right?
Yeah, completely understand. And before we kind of get out of here, Spectrion, is there anything else you want to just throw the way here of Will, or just this Potfriend team in general? Because
obviously you guys had to beat Tred a couple times. I mean, again, you've played, I think, 3 times with the core. There was Epic 41. There was first time in playoffs where you beat him 3-1, and there was now. Is there any like personal victory for you guys beating Tred specifically? Is there anything you want to say to Tred Gaming Esports after you beat them?
And yeah, of course, fucking ass cheeks, all of them. We're all good friends with all of them, so it's like, that's like the best, you know. Like if you beat your friends, talk with every day, that's like fucking, that's delicious, you know. That's the best you can get.
We finished up on a high note. I love it. But of course, we appreciate you coming out for this interview. Congratulations, and of course, take this time to celebrate with your team. You guys have 100% earned it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care. Wow, this is it's been a journey, Spectrion, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, this season feels like it's taken an age in the absolute best of ways, but now it's all kind of coming to a close. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit of that bittersweet nostalgia that Will was kind of talking about earlier. I mean, it's been such a great season. The final was absolutely fantastic. Even though it couldn't go the full 7, 6 is pretty good, all things considered. And we have a very deserving winner in Potfriend. Plenty of players, too, are going to go on to do great things, I'm sure, outside of CGL in the wider competitive scene. I mean, we're so blessed to have such a stacked grand finals as well. You know, outside of OWCS Face It League, there are very few places where you're going to find all these players, this concentration of skill, all in one place. And we just had a feast on our screens, folks. So I'm just feeling kind of thankful for that.
I mean, I'm thankful for it as well, but from my understanding, we do have one final match remaining within the finals, which is going to be the finals between Nexus and Valentine, which is for the PC NA Open tier, which is taking place all the way over on Wednesday, but that will be our last playoff match for this whole thing. But at least for EU Spectrion, I mean, this is the basically the end of EU for this season, so I mean, giving this opportunity, if you have any parting words for the season in terms of the EU area, I mean, it's your time.
I mean, EU's always been a bit of a weird region because we never get any like investment. Really, we know we got a first land coming up, but honestly, I think the scene's just been so exciting to watch. I mean, watching OWCS, watching CGL, I think it's just absolutely electrifying. So much talent that we've got coming through. The future can only look brighter from here.
You know, I could not agree with you more at all. But of course, we will have this this opportunity, and it's always great to have this opportunity. But of course, we have a lot more people to thank, Spectrion. I have to thank you first and foremost here, because it's always a pleasure to have the EU side of things, because you definitely do bring that EU flavor to a lot of the matches to the desk. But we got a whole team behind us, Spectrion, and it cannot be done without them ever. Like, I can't stress it enough.
I mean, today we've had Hippy producing for the first bit. I believe it was Unfeatured who took on later, and an absolute gamut of observers. I believe it was Lotty, Elliot Jet. I should probably take a look at the roster sheet to see who everyone was. But so Zusor, sorry, you in that? Yeah, Zusor and Unfeatured were observing, getting that from the Voice Upon High. And of course, there's also even more who've been working everything out. Of course, chat admins. We've had Headrammer doing a lot of the actual organizational work behind the scenes as well for putting on this whole tournament. LittleJoe as well was also observing. I mean, see, there's just everyone. Too many people to remember. And that's just kind of the point we're making. Takes a village here.
It literally does take a village here, but either way, it's been a fantastic time. We still have that one last game over on Wednesday night, so make sure you watch out for that one. But as for right now, I've been Huntertain. This has been Spectrion. Thank you very, very much for joining us here today, and we will see you all for the final game next week of CGL Season 13.
Name straight, new wave.